Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday, right? Good evening, Dre. Punksy, what's up? Kevin Kraft, you're a ninja tonight. Silent, but aware. Good evening, Punksy, SRB. What's the temperature wherever you guys are at right now? I'm curious. What's up, Josie? Kip Kitty. Look at all those hearts. Look at all that love. When is it supposed to start snowing? I think Dre actually got hit. Yeah. I think you've been getting hit since last night, right, Dre? We've had about 5 on round 2. Not sure how much. Yes, stay home. Is anybody dealing with freezing rain right now? Took hubby a while to scrape 2 spots and went. Yeah. Oh my gosh. 34, 65. Let me see what temperature it is here. 43 feels like 34. It's 73 here. Or 71. 71 right now. I don't know. I thought we were supposed to get some crazy strong storms, but I guess maybe it stayed north. Not sure. What's up, Cherry? 20. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Just get that cup of coffee. Oh boy, there's so much stuff on Idaho 4, and oh my gosh, every single day there's so much more I'm adding to this chemical disaster topic. And I'm gonna have to get caught up. You can call in the show for Cuomo. So it looks like Brian Etton's filling in for Cuomo tonight. He is talking on the latest Ohio train derailment, Trump, Buttigieg, another family exposing awful bullying with devastating video, and Paul Murdaugh's ex describing choked and beat. Whoa. Holy crap. Okay. So it looks like Etton's filling in for Cuomo, so we'll have some Brian Etton videos tomorrow night. From News and Nation, maybe even tonight. We'll see. All right, let me take a look here at what we got going on. Hope everybody's having a safe and positive evening. Also, hiya, I'm a ninja. Ninja named Hiya. Time to go out and load a semi. Oh. Wet and heavy, huh? 43 and raining? We are all moving in for a month. I have a 2-bedroom. Oh shit. All right, let me double check. Let me get that ticker going on the bottom there. Blah, blah. Add that up there. All right. Let me double test that Google Voice to make sure it's working, because sometimes people, well, most of the time actually, I don't even hear it. Okay, so I just got to do a little test. Test is ringing. We're all good there. All right, let me see what we got real quick here. I'm gonna watch these first couple short videos of Athena Strand. There's a few of them that came out one right after another. Go ahead and start the show off with that case and see what's new here. Prosecutors to seek death penalty. Yeah, we figure that. Let me see. CBS Texas. So it looks like I can just pretty much watch one of these, and I'm pretty much watching them both, and then I'll hit this one up right after that. Yeah, be safe out there, everybody.
The big story here right now at 6 o'clock, though, is the Wise County DA. They are now seeking the death penalty for this man, Tanner Horner. He's the contracted FedEx driver accused of murdering 7-year-old Athena Strand.
As the criminal case continues, the little girl's mother and father are pursuing a wrongful death suit. Our Caroline Vandergrift tonight breaking down the latest legal developments in this case.
Athena Strand loved animals and Disney musicals. Her family says the 7-year-old's life was senselessly cut short when a contracted FedEx driver became what a lawsuit calls a deliverer of death. They are now suing Tanner Horner, FedEx, and a subcontractor, Big Topspin, for more than $1 million in damages. Her parents believe the first grader's death could have been prevented. The lawsuit accuses the companies of negligence in hiring, training, and supervising Horner.
What?
I will never be able to hear her say, "I love you, Mommy." I will never be able to do her hair again.
Okay.
Or to hold her while she sleeps.
Now, I thought, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought this dude had no prior criminal history whatsoever, right? I mean, I might not be up to date. But I could have swore that he didn't have a criminal history. So how can... This is what I'm not... Okay. This is not what I'm not understanding. How can the company be held in response financially? How is a trainer supposed to be like, oh, this dude seems like a serial killer. This dude seems like a pedophile. This dude seems like he would commit murder one day. This dude seems like he would... I just don't understand. I get it if they have a previous history. Then you could look back on it and be like, well, there were flags. But if the dude didn't have a criminal history, could he not sue them? If they, what if somebody did say, man, I feel like he's going to murder somebody someday. Couldn't he sue? Couldn't he sue the job for that? So it's like, okay, so what's the protocol to go to your supervisor or your manager or your boss? What is the protocol to report somebody you feel might commit a murder one day? What's the protocol for that? I don't understand. I'm gonna hear that again. Maybe I didn't hear it right, but it sounded like they said something about, they should have noticed in training. What?
Dollars in damages. Her parents believe the first grader's death could have been prevented. The lawsuit accuses the companies of negligence in hiring, training, and supervising Horner.
I will never be able to hear her say, "I love you, Mommy." I will never...
Hiring and training and supervising. Again, how do you know? Fuck that. There's people, we'll tell our fucking closest coworkers, man, something don't seem right about that person. What's the proper protocol to report somebody higher up in the hierarchy that you think that somebody might commit a crime one day? I just don't understand that.
I will never be able to hear her say, "I love you, Mom." I will never be able to do her hair again or to hold her while she sleeps.
Athena was reported missing from her home on November 30th, 2022. Her disappearance sparked a massive 2-day search to find her. According to the Wise County Sheriff, Horner was delivering a Christmas gift to Athena's house
Right.
when he claims he accidentally hit the little girl with his.
Yeah, you can sue anybody for anything in a civil case, and it's... I mean... They know that they're not going to be able to get any damages from the person that committed the crime. That's pretty obvious. So, I don't know, though. I don't know. I'm just curious how that's all going to play out. I just don't understand how... I just don't understand how they can be held liable. Like, training, supervising, and hiring. If there's no flags, if the dude has no criminal history, I don't understand that they could get sued if they didn't hire him with no flags. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand this.
FedEx truck.
We do have a confession.
Horner told investigators he then panicked and took the little girl, saying he ultimately killed her with his bare hands and dumped her body. A grand jury indicted the 31-year-old on charges of aggravated kidnapping and capital murder last week, and the DA plans to seek the death penalty. Horner is still in the Wise County Jail on bonds totaling more than $1.5 million. He'll have a chance to enter his plea in court at his arraignment on March 6th, according to court records. In Wise County, I'm Caroline Van.
That's what I'm saying, Punksy. If we turned in the people that, you know, in all of our work history where we said something just ain't right, you know, like, what's the protocol? Give me the protocol, then I can see how they could be liable or not liable. But what's the protocol? I would like to know that first more than anything. At least he confessed. At least they caught the guy that did this, and at least the family's gonna get justice when it comes to, you know, what happens to the gentleman. But this whole civil thing is just completely different, and I just don't understand it.
We are learning.
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It doesn't. Right. Exactly. In my opinion as well, Cherry. Like, his face doesn't look scary to me. Yeah, no criminal past that would be able to show up on a, you know, like when he applied for the job. Nothing would have showed up. They would have said, oh, cleared background check. Oh, good driver's license. Oh, Scott insurance. Job history. I mean, so if that's what all checks out, you know what I mean? Like, how is I don't know. We'll see what happens.
New information tonight in the Athena Strand case. Police say the 7-year-old was killed by a FedEx driver. Nearly 3 months later, we finally have her autopsy. Adriana de Alba has the details from those documents tonight. Adriana?
Oh, wow.
Izzy, the findings in that autopsy report.
How do they not have a background check? How do they not have a background check for that kind of occupation? I don't understand that. I thought they all did.
Are consistent with what we've heard from police in the past. According to the medical examiner's office, they found evidence of trauma to 7-year-old Athena Strand's head, and there was also evidence of asphyxia or strangulation. And now that autopsy report says there was no evidence of sexual activity. You may remember Tanner Horner, her accused killer, told police he accidentally hit 7-year-old Athena with his FedEx truck, and now we know for a fact that she died of blunt force injuries and strangulation. We're told Strand's family is aware of this autopsy report, and these new details come the same week that Strand's mother filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the suspect, Horner, along along with FedEx and the contracting company. And just yesterday, Texas prosecutors announced they will seek the death penalty against the suspect Horner. So, of course, we will continue following any new developments as they come in. Chris, back to you.
Dang it. All right, I'm going to go. YouTube's bugging again. All right, I'm going to go to this video real quick. This is about Mayor Pete. Oh, YouTube, come on.
To a politician in a TV camera. Put a camera in the middle of Capitol Hill, and Nancy Pelosi will drape herself in African tribal robes and even take a knee. Put a camera 10 yards from Mayor Pete's office, and Pete will even hop out of his gas-guzzling SUV and start riding his bike to work. Put a camera in Africa, and Jill Biden will go there just to watch him dance.
What? All right, this is about Mayor Pete. Here it is.
Campaign photo. Cameras are like crack to these people. But once the cameras are off, it doesn't matter if your town got toxic train wrecked like a Palestine.
Whoa, that's how they're taking
Those
apart.
Same people act like you don't exist, like nothing ever happened. It's like everybody who's supposed to care is as far away from this town as they can be. They're not even going in for a photo op, not bothering to hand out bottled water and act like they care. No, it's like Joe and Jill are competing to see who can be further away from this toxic train wreck. Pete's only getting around now to talking about it.
What do you say to people who see the president's visit to Ukraine but don't see you or the president in East Palestine?
We were there since day one.
The biggest thing I want residents of East Palestine to know is that they're not alone.
But these people have felt alone for weeks. When they were getting migraines, they were breaking out in hives, and the only answer they were getting was that everything was fine. So no surprise when someone finally does show up, they go wild. They get excited, just like they did today when Trump came to East Palestine.
Hey, hello, everybody. What's your specialty today?
How are you today? Nice to meet you.
Hello, everybody. That's a nice, beautiful people. So I know this menu better than you do, okay? I probably know it better than anybody in here. We're going to take care of the fire department.
Okay.
We're going to take care of the police department. We're going to take care of that. Plus the people that are in here, they're going to get a nice free meal, all right? Thank you, everybody.
These people are just grateful someone is there for them.
Well, that's nice.
It means a lot that a former president would fly all the way from Florida, bring them pallets of fresh
Paid for
water,
all
and buy
that.
everybody Big Macs. A move like this goes a long way with people. You know the phrase, half a life is just showing up. And that's what Americans want from our politicians. Show up, show that you care, say that you love them, and deliver. It's cold, it's raining, Trump showed up.
Amen.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for your service.
What's your message to Joe Biden before you leave?
Thank you. Get over here.
And Biden should have been there 2 weeks ago, along with Pete, where they should have been handing out pallets of water and drinking the tap water they said was fine. If not that, at least show up and listen to them.
The thing that upsets me most is because I've heard it numerous times. They're referring to us as the low-class people of East Palestine. We're not low-class. We're not stupid. We weren't born last night. I know that chemicals land on the top of the ground, and until we get a heavy rain or heavy snow and it pulls that down into the ground,
oh my gosh!
Right now, you can test wells all day long.
Oh my gosh!
It hasn't reached there yet.
And we got that storm. Oh my gosh, we got that big storm coming through. I'm going to look up the radar and see where that storm's at while we're watching the rest of this.
But Mayor Pete's taking some personal time.
What do you have to say to the folks in Ohio, East Palestine, who are suffering right now?
Well, I'd refer you to about a dozen interviews I've given today, and if you'd like to arrange a conversation, be sure to reach out to our press office. We'll have that conversation with you. Just walk
You don't have a message for them?
I do, and I shared it with the press many times today. I'd refer you to those comments.
Would you mind it with us?
No, I'm going to refer to the comments that I made to the press because rough time and walking down the street.
Are you going down there?
What's that?
Are you going
What a
down there?
dick.
Yep.
When are you going?
I'll share that.
What a fucking dick. I'm sorry. What a fucking dick. And the amount of time that you spent saying the shit that you're saying, come on, dude. Show some fucking compassion, you cocky asshole.
But Pete's taking some personal time.
What do you have to say to the folks in Ohio, East Palestine, who are suffering right now?
Well, I'd refer you to about a dozen interviews I've given today, and if you'd like to arrange a conversation, be sure to reach out to our press office. But I can have that conversation with you.
You don't have a message for them?
I do, and I shared it with the press many times today. I'd refer you to those comments.
Would you mind sharing it with us?
Yeah, I'll play it again. Here, hold on. Josie, if you got that, can you send it to me, please? If you got that, please send it to me. Oh my gosh, what a fucking cocky ass. And then because I haven't been covering I've been saving it in a separate folder to keep it for a show. I have some of his interviews that he's done on the news over the last few days. Saturday, Sunday, yesterday, the day before, and it's just like hearing the shit coming out of his mouth is like, dude, you're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody. Aw. Be safe, SRB, out in that weather. Okay, here we go, Dre. We're gonna check it out again. Just listen to this guy. What a dick.
Numerous times they're referring to us as the low-class people of East Palestine.
Coming up.
We're not low-class. We're not stupid. We weren't born last night. I know that chemicals land on the top of the ground, and until we get a heavy rain or heavy snow, the car wells aren't affected right now. You can test wells all day long. It doesn't matter. It hasn't reached there yet.
But Mayor Pete's taking some personal time.
What do you have to say to the folks in Ohio, East Palestine, who are suffering right now?
Well, I'd refer you to about a dozen interviews I've given today, and if you'd like to arrange a conversation, be sure to reach out to our press office. But I can have that conversation with you. Just
You don't have a message for them?
I do, and I shared it with the press many times today. I'd refer
Wow.
you to those comments.
Would you mind sharing it with us?
And then he's
No, I'm going to refer you
smirking.
to the comments that I made to the press because right now I'm taking some personal time and I'm walking down the street.
Are you going down there?
What's that?
Are you going down there at all?
Yep, I am.
When are you going?
I'll share that when I'm ready.
Okay,
I'll talk
thank
to
you.
Can I get a photo of you?
Yeah.
Why did Pete take a picture of the woman? Is she now on the no-fly list?
What?
I mean, it feels like the whole country's on the no-fly list the way you're running the airports. The point is, you don't bother Pete when he's out on a date with Chasten. He's taking some personal time. Pete's off the clock. You better respect that, even if it
Wow.
means people might get cancer. Pete's only going to East Palestine tomorrow because he got shamed into it. The White House can't
Yep.
afford not to go when Trump's out there having Big Mac attacks,
Big Mac
especially
attack.
since it took him days to even start pretending to care.
And I just have to ask,
Yeah,
because
this
it did
is
take you
one
a
of
couple
them.
of days to respond publicly,
Listen to this.
or several days to respond publicly to this particular incident. Do you wish you would have spoken out sooner?
Listen.
Yes, I was focused on just making sure that our folks on the ground were all set, but could have spoken sooner about how strongly I felt.
And basically saying, well, you know, it's the predecessors always let the NTSB do their job and not step on toes. And it's like, bro, whatever, man.
About this incident and that lesson learned for me.
Don't worry, Pete promises he'll care the next time there's a chemical explosion, as long as it doesn't conflict with his personal time. We know how needy Chasten can be.
I never seen
He
it.
promises to go on TV sooner to let people know that this is the kind of thing that happens all of the time.
Clearly more that needs to be done because while this horrible situation has gotten a particularly high amount of attention, there are roughly 1,000 cases a year of a train derailing. Obviously, they have levels of severity, but where all of that points us to is a need to continue to raise the bar.
Don't blame him for not worrying about something that happens 1,000 times a day. I mean, he was swamped with more important things the week of the crash, like going to Texas to attack racist bridges. He didn't have time to fix railroads. The week after the crash, he was busy bemoaning white construction workers.
We have heard way too many stories from generations past of infrastructure where you got a neighborhood, often a neighborhood of color, that finally sees the project come to them, but everyone in the hard hats on that project looking like, doing the good paying jobs, don't look like they came from anywhere near the neighborhood.
Right. We could have used some of those white construction workers to fix that rail line. Pete was so busy fighting environmental racism that he ignored a working class white town that got rocked by toxins. Now, tomorrow he's going to tell East Palestine that he cares about them. But is it too little too late? Primetime would like to deliver a message, though, to the town of Palestine tonight. Be respectful, Mayor Pete. You can tell him how you feel, but be respectful. We know you're angry. Those cameras are going to be rolling.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our...
Oh, so it was Dr. Josie? Oh, YouTube. Dang it. Actually, I want to go follow that lady here on Twitter real quick. Let me see here. 1 second. S-T-A-E-R, right? S-T-A-E-R, I think. Oh. Okay, maybe not. Well, I wanted to show this real quick. It looks like the storm hasn't hit East Palestine yet, if it's going to show. There we go. Wow, StreamYard's bugging too. Let me see. Trump also had some... yeah, I have that video too. Wow, 100,000. Wow. Look at that. Yeah, I did see all the bottles of water. I have a lot of videos for it, but I was trying to save it for a special. Joe Biden got caught giving his thoughts on Joe Biden. You think they bought any of that bullshit? Wow. Nuh-uh. So what do you think they're trying to hide, Josie? Like real shit. But it says it's going to start raining there. It might have rained there already, it looks like. Yeah. So let's pray that area, like they said in that video, heavy rain and storms will just bring that stuff out of the ground. I don't know. I don't know. What's the solution now? You know? If it's that deep into the ground, it's in the soil. I mean, we saw them scraping the water and then the shit just spewing out on a delayed reaction. So you know it's in the soil. Like, what is... Now that it got this far, it says over time in the soil it will start to go away, but that's after time. That's not when I was watching an interview. Yeah, that's what it's showing here. Let's see, I think that was overnight. Now, oh, this is projected. Oh, it starts at 10:30. It starts now and then about 10:30. So they're going to get hit with a pretty decent sized storm coming up, right? Well, it'll go right by them. Projected anyway. Yeah, so I'm hoping tomorrow night do a show on the derailment and the chemical disaster stuff. Come on, YouTube. This is crazy. I don't understand. So I thought there was a whole bunch of rain supposed to be going up that way, though, because that's where all that freezing rain is. See it up there? I thought that was going to get pounded with a bunch of rain. All right, we'll go back to my folder here. Let's see. We'll get rid of the radar. So, prayers to that community, because I bet it does bring that crap out. And then all the and think about this, right? I just thought about this. All the worms that are in the soil that now are saturated with those things, and then the rain's going to bring the worms out. And then the birds and the geese and all those are going to be eating on those worms. They're going to be eating on those worms. Then they're going to be leaving waste with the toxic shit. Man. It's not going to be good. Granted, it happens every time. Yeah, right. It goes further in the ground, it's not good. And if it rises, it's not good. Yeah, right. Wow, no way. It was flooding tonight? Yeah, like a domino effect, Kid Kitty, exactly. Man, this is, I just don't get it. All right, that was an interesting video, though. It's nice that people are talking about that and holding people accountable on major news networks, because a lot of them don't even talk that much about it. The latest crazy theory on Kohberger's innocence debunked. What? Maybe we'll go back to that. All right, we're going to go to this News Nation video about the Madeleine McCann. They talked about it earlier today. So I'm curious, hopefully we know when this is going to take place. Does anybody know when the DNA? Why is it on mute now?
A little girl disappearing in Portugal.
YouTube.
Now a woman is claiming on social media she is the missing British toddler Madeleine McCann. We have a picture of who claims to be a 21-year-old Julia Faustina of Poland. She became wildly popular on social media this month when she started posting on Instagram under the handle, I am Madeleine McCann. Just this week, she just suggested that Kate and Jerry McCann agreed to take a DNA test. But is this a solved mystery, or is this an imposter? Let's bring in forensic psychiatrist Dr. Daniel Bober. Dr. Bober, thank you for being with me right now. McCann's parents,
yeah, it started off
really,
on mute.
they want her to take the DNA test, it sounds like, versus them providing her with any data. First, what are the chances that something like this could actually happen?
Well, listen, most things are possible, right? And this story is filled with sensationalism and wild speculation. But my question is, let's not forget, 2 parents lost their child. So if I'm Julia Faustina, why wouldn't I contact them privately? Or why wouldn't I call Scotland Yard or some police department and do it anonymously? why would I post it all over social media? So I question her motivations. Now, that doesn't mean that she's not McCann.
She's in
but
another
it certainly
country,
casts
right?
doubt on it.
And, you know, could it be a result of the trauma that she faced? Apparently, I'm reading reports that she doesn't remember any of her childhood, which is kind of dubious, but could certainly be the case if somebody had gone through extreme torment or mental anguish or emotional sadness.
Absolutely. Dissociative amnesia
wow.
is a real phenomenon, and there's MR.
So, what did she say? What did she say, Punksy? That's cool. She got on Alex's show. I wish I could freaking do my lives during the day. For real. One day. I'm always late. That's part of being a night show. You're always behind. Yeah, they need DNA testing. Yeah, anybody's more than welcome to hop up. I'll put that out there if anybody does. But just hanging out tonight. Tomorrow night I'll be doing the I'll be on the Ohio train derailment stuff tomorrow night. So I'm just doing hangout and going over whatever. But yeah, does anybody know when the DNA testing is supposed to take place? That she came to social media, right? That's what we thought. She reached out to all these different areas and nobody would help her. So I don't understand why this guy is saying that, because that's what I would do. Right. I'm sure they do too. You know, the parents already agreed to it. Parents already agreed to being cool with it. So, I mean, I'm sure it won't take too long. Somebody just has to get a kit in the mail or who knows, they probably have one already there. She just has to do the thing and send it. Something. Do you know how the DNA is going to take place? Do you know when it's supposed to? Let me know if Alex has a short video on it too, and I'll look that up. But yeah, I was going through my prep and I made it about 10 hours back, and then YouTube bugged out and I lost everything. So, and then that was like 15 minutes before the show, so I'm like, well, never mind. So I didn't see it come across on my feed, so it must have been maybe this morning or something. But yeah, let me know if you know anything. That's interesting.
MRI evidence to back that up. People who go through serious trauma.
I don't know. I don't even really care well, we won't do that. I'll go ahead and let him finish. We'll let him finish down here.
Can have repressed memories because the memories are so overwhelming and so painful that the mind actually disconnects from them, and so they lose whole swaths of their past. It is certainly possible.
Ooh,
but
Delphi.
then on the other side of the camp, there's something called false or delayed memories, because we know that memory is notoriously unreliable and suggestible. So there have been studies in labs where people have been told things that they then said were memories. So it doesn't mean the trauma did not in fact occur, but it just means that these memories are very unreliable.
And in this world of social media, it's like you have to kind of create your own new vein of psychiatric study, where people normally do things online that they wouldn't do in person, or where they do things that they would do privately that they are now doing publicly. So the fact that she, as you mentioned at the top of this interview, posted this with the handle I am Madeline McCann without privately going to the parents could be speculative, or it could be part of her generation, part of the Gen Z theme.
Maybe they didn't do their homework.
But again, there has to be a degree of sensitivity. I mean, we're talking about a lost or lost child or the death of a child. So yes, it's possible it could be generational. But again, if it were me,
They just didn't do their homework. Who was that? Let me look at that. Who? That was News Nation. Huh. That's crazy. That was News Nation. I'm surprised. What did I get in Discord here? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Is this the whole thing? Thank you, Punksy. All right. Here, I'll go ahead and throw... I do... when I have the time, usually on the weekend, I'm able to hang out in Alex's lives for a little bit. Here's the link that that Punksy's talking about. This is Alex Erickson's stream with the girl who's claiming to be Madeleine McCain. So if you'd like to check that out, go ahead and give her a sub too, if you're not subbed already. Just say, hey, Punksy and CJ. All right. Thank you for that. So let me get rid of that. Okay, there was some Delphi. Here it is right here. And here's another thing. Dr. Laura Petler, forensic criminologist. So we haven't watched Crime Talk for a while. Wow, it's been a long time since we watched some Crime Talk. Holy crap. Yes, she is. She has a great passion for these cases. Ooh, the day. I can't wait till I can one day just have my show during the daytime. That'd be so awesome. All right, Crime Talk. Let's hear what he has to say about Delphi. I think they released something. Yeah. The petition to seal the probable cause affidavit revealed. So the judge was like, no, you're not going to get this prosecution. Very interesting. Where's the beginning of it? All right.
Open the docket for February 22nd of 2023. First on the docket, the petition to seal the charging documents in the Delphi homicide case against Richard Allen have been released. Now, this goes back to October 28th from 2022. But ladies and gentlemen, be afraid. These are public servants that are supposedly out there to protect everyone's constitutional rights. And what have I said? Listen, you may not like criminal defense attorneys. Heck, they may not like you. But the reality of it is they are defending your constitutional rights every day by defending the people that have been criminally accused of a crime. So the district attorney in this particular case, Nicholas C. McClelland, and who's the Carroll County prosecuting attorney, states under oath that he wants no access to the charging information, the probable cause affidavit, and other court documents filed in this cause of action. And they say the public interest will be secured by sealing of the record, that the dissemination of the information contained in this record will create a serious and imminent danger to the public interest, that any prejudicial effect created by dissemination of the information cannot be avoided by any reasonable method other than sealing of a record, that there is a substantial probability that sealing the record will be effective in protecting the public interest against the perceived danger, and that the public interest will be substantially served by prohibiting access for the reasons that the release of the information might damage an ongoing murder investigation, or that the access or dissemination of the court record will create a significant risk of substantial harm to the requester or other persons. And therefore, they request that the court prohibit public access to those said documents. Okay, they regurgitated the statute. First of all, let's admit it. This should be offensive to everyone. And if it's not offensive,
What?
explain to me why it is not. We live in an open society. The public has a right to know what crime is taking place in the jurisdiction in which they live. Frankly, everybody has a right to know. This kind of nonsense by public officials, we've seen it in the Lori Vallow case. We've seen it in the Koberger case. We've seen it in the Allen case. Hate to break it to everybody, but there are cases much more serious that are open to the public everywhere across this country. I don't know what it is where prosecutors somehow think, oh, the media is going to be involved in this. They're going to be curious about this. Therefore, we must have no access to the public because we hope it will all go away if the public can't get access to it. Nonsense. Fortunately, the court ultimately basically reversed themselves and released the affidavit once the court saw that there wasn't anything so earth-shattering, and it was going to be, oh my gosh, so scary because the Americans public cannot handle scary information because they're too stupid to be able to decipher what's true and what's not.
Wow.
Thank goodness the court did that. But
wow,
this is weak, and the court, as you may recall, that originally went along with this was the same judge that recused himself. Well, he's a weak judge too. Okay, he should just quit being a judge right now because if he can't deal with a little public scrutiny of the criminal justice system, then he needs to get off. I just do not understand why these people that are supposedly there to protect us all think we're all too stupid and that we can't have access to this information. I want to thank one of our subscribers, sent this to me. I didn't know that it had just been released, but it is offensive and so weak on its face that I can't believe a court would actually have granted that. It's nothing more than a regurgitation of the statute with no supporting allegations whatsoever. It just absolutely makes me livid. All right, next.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh, shit. He fucking went off. Holy shit.
On the docket, apparently old Paul Murdaugh. I know you don't want to disparage the deceased, but hey, if his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend is going to do it, why can't we? All right? Just joking. I know he's not here to defend himself, but Paul Murdaugh's longtime girlfriend has broken her silence regarding Paul Murdaugh and describes physical abuse and claimed his family wants to help cover up a serious car accident where he was maybe drinking and driving. So Morgan Doty has spoken of her relationship with Alec Murdaugh's younger son, Paul, for the first time in a new Netflix documentary titled Murdaugh Murders, a Southern Scandal. Now, she describes him as an abusive partner who would...
I don't know if it necessarily means that. They were making it seem that the general public was gonna be what's the word? In danger if certain information was, released or whatever. But that very well could be it, Kid Kitty. They might not have a whole bunch of shit. I don't know. Like we said last night, the PCA is a very small amount of information, but when you do go off the PCA, it's still kind of so I don't know. It just depends what they have, and hopefully the trial doesn't get delayed. I hope this Idaho 4 and I hope this Delphi trial really start. I hope there's no delays. I hope it just, we got people that are in jail right now. Let's find out what's going on and let's continue to move forward. It is a good question.
Younger son Paul for the first time in a new Netflix documentary titled Murdaugh Murders, a Southern Scandal. Now, she describes him as an abusive partner who would often drink, claiming that one night He started kicking her, and when she told him to stop, grabbed her by the throat and punched her. Sounds like a real nice guy. Now, Doty detailed the events following the 2017 Christmas party, where she alleged a drunk Paul Murdaugh crashed his truck, with his family rushing to the scene to get and retrieve and ultimately hide guns and various beer cans that were in the vehicle before the police actually arrived. She also recalled how the family's housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield, had found bags of pills belonging to Alec Murdaugh, who we all know now is addicted to opioids, and told Paul about it the same year she died from a fall at their estate. The new allegations come amid the 5th week of Mr. Murdaugh's trial, which continues on. And obviously, he's accused of shooting Paul and his wife, Maggie, back on June 7th of 2021. Now, Dowdy, who moved to South Carolina with her parents when starting high school, said she had a strong connection with Paul and that the two began going out in their junior year of high school. And Dowdy said that she and her friends would hang around Paul's home, where his parents allegedly offered the minors liquor on a regular basis. Whenever she came around there, apparently, it was very normal for them to be drinking and have lots of alcohol always stocked in the house, according to the ex-girlfriend. The claims of the Murdaugh's prevalent drinking culture matches that of what Doty told the police after the 2019 boat accident at Mallory Beach, where she was obviously killed, where Paul was the driver. In her affidavit in that particular case, Dowdy provided 25 videos of minors drinking alcohol with Alex and his family present. Paul's alleged constant drinking, she says, basically helped sour their relationship, and her friends warned her to stay away from him. Now, in this new documentary, her friend Miley Altman said that she and Beach would tell Dowdy to end things with Paul, saying the couple would break up over the weekend and then get back together again the following week. Describing her relationship with Paul, Dowdy said, "I think that our relationship is just something that I could really clung to, just because when it was good, it was really good, but when it was bad, it was really bad." She said their arguments began getting physical, and it all came to a head one night when they were celebrating Buster Murdaugh's graduation, and Paul began kicking her at a hotel where they were staying. Now, Dowdy noted that Paul was drunk, and when he told her to stop, he grabbed her by the throat. He allegedly got on top of her and began screaming at her and telling her to shut up. On the date of the boat crash, Dowdy alleged that Paul slapped her and spit at her as well. So, sounds like a real nice guy. I know he's not here to defend himself, but his girlfriend is making these allegations. Doesn't surprise me. Really, the whole everybody should be drinking, let the minors drink, creates nothing but issues. It creates a mentality of we can do whatever we want. Dad, come fix my problems. Dad, come fix my problems. Kind of a repeated theme throughout this, whether it was Alec Murdaugh and his dad trying to fix problems, or Alec Murdaugh trying to fix problems for his kids. Yep. Now, today, the defense continues with their defense in the case of Alec Murdaugh, calling various witnesses to poke holes in the prosecution's theory of the case. Yesterday, we had the engineer who basically determined through physics that the individuals who shot Paul and Maggie were somewhere between the height of 5'2" to 5'4", and therefore could not have been Alec Murdaugh.
Whoa. So they know how tall the person was? They know how tall?
Prosecution's theory of the case. Yesterday, we had the engineer who basically determined through physics that the individuals who shot Paul and Maggie were somewhere between the height of 5'2" to 5'4", and therefore could not have been Alec Murdaugh. Now, the prosecution went after the defense witness pretty hard yesterday, but the defense had the prosecution scurrying over there at the defense table. That was the first time I've seen any real movement or excitement from the prosecution team over there during that examination. I think it was somewhat effective. Today, witnesses have been called as it relates to the handling of the crime scene. One was Alec Murdaugh's former law partner who arrived on the scene and said basically everybody kept showing up and it was disrespectful as it related to not covering up Maggie and Paul at the scene. But on cross-examination, it did come out that Alec Murdaugh stole several millions from the law firm, that the law firm partners had to pony up themselves to cover up or pay for Alec Murdaugh's lies. Everybody admits this guy, well, they thought they knew him. They knew him for 20 years, but yet he was lying to their face on every single day. They all knew this guy for 20 years, but yet he was lying to them. So they figured out they didn't know him. Is that enough for the prosecution? I don't know. They haven't put him actually behind the gun just yet. There are no eyewitnesses. The defense is saying 2 people. If the defense is able to convince.
So the 5, what'd they say? 5'2" to 5'4"? So and he's like tall, right? So that means he didn't do it?
Convince the jury of some doubt that maybe there were 2 people, that would be not guilty. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is the prosecution proving their case or is the defense poking holes in it? Now, the other day, old Mr. Hartulian, well, let's just say his joke didn't go over that well. He was trying to demonstrate a component of the defense theory when they had their engineer on the stand yesterday. Basically, someone that who stands as tall as Alec Murdaugh could not have possibly fired the shots. In an attempt to find a good location in the courtroom to depict the shooter's stance, Mr. Hartulian and the one point stood adjacent to the witness stand with the muzzle of the rifle he was holding pointed squarely at the prosecution table, as well as to the media seated directly behind the prosecution. And he said, quote, "Tempting," end quote. He joked as he brandished the weapon. Some people are literally trying to cancel Mr. Hartulian, who is a South Carolina legislator as well. Let me know. Clearly, his timing was off. That's all.
Whoa.
All right, next on the docket, Debbie Collier. Remember that? The woman who disappeared down there in Georgia? Well, Dr. Michael Baden believes that the Georgia mom was likely murdered and didn't kill herself as the authorities had claimed before. Now, the former New York City chief medical examiner said that Collier's autopsy raises significant questions about how law enforcement came to believe that she died by suicide, namely because the report notes she inhaled no soot or carbon monoxide. From a forensic point of view, that would indicate that she was dead before the fire started, Baden said, noting that soot and carbon monoxide are present 99% of the time when people die in a fire, especially self-immolation. Right. The autopsy report provided to Mr. Baden for review claims Collier died from inhalation of superheated gases, thermal injuries, and a hydrocodone intoxication, and speculates that she died in a flash fire due to the presence of a nearby gas can. Now, Collier, as you may recall, was reported missing on September 10th after she sent her daughter, Amanda, a Venmo payment for $2,385 with a message that said, "They are not going to let me go. Love you." Her naked and badly burned remains were found in the woods some 60 miles north of her home a day later. Citing her toxicology report, Dr. Baden said a little less than half of the people would die from those levels, but if she did die of an overdose, the question of how the fire started remains, he said, and then her cause of death should be labeled hydrocodone overdose with post-mortem fire injuries. It makes it more confusing, he notes, the toxicology report. The forensic pathologist who was hired by the families of George Floyd, Michael Brown, and Jeffrey Epstein to do private autopsies and appeared in the show Autopsy said that the fact that Collier was apparently found naked makes him further question the suicide conclusion. Interesting case, but I'm not sure the state is going to do anything about it.
It is an interesting case. I don't know. It's very, I don't understand how somebody can unalive themselves like that. Like, how do you succeed? I don't understand. I don't know. It's just really weird. Really fishy. Okay, there was something else I thought Brian Koberger. Or no, Delphi. Here it is. I came across this channel, I think it was yesterday, or maybe the day before, when I was doing some prep. So I haven't seen any of the videos yet. But it had something on Delphi, and I'm like, you know what, Court TV in Delphi? But it was 3 months ago. Let me see what she has brand new. Hold on. Alex Murdaugh trial. Let's see. Let me see. The Idaho. I want to hear. Let me see. That was a month ago. I just want to check out a little bit. Live Court TV. I'm going to go to the Murdaugh trial first, though.
As soon as that happens, we will get you back into court as soon as the judge takes the bench. Before we bring back in our guests, I want to let you know about another trial that Court TV cameras are covering. 3 men are facing a jury in Florida accused of the 2018 murder of the rapper XXXTentacion. You can watch that trial streaming live now on courttv.com. All right, let's get you back to the Murdaugh family members trial. Still with us, we have forensic criminologist Dr. Laura Pettler. Laura, before we were speaking about the shots to Paul based on what the pathologist said during her testimony today. Now I want to talk about the shots to Maggie, the wife of Alec Murdaugh, who they say was shot second after Paul. And the part of the testimony that disturbed me even more than I thought I could be disturbed by such horrible murders. But the pathologist testified that she was likely bent over in pain from shots she had received before she received the shot that then actually killed her. Talk to us about what you think forensically of the testimony and what happened to Maggie.
Judge Ashley, there's a few things that I definitely understood a lot more about during her testimony. The first thing was something I think I texted to you, which was, this is an extremely angry, aggressive behavior coming from the shooter. And it does not take 5 bullets to kill somebody, especially from a firearm of that nature, or a firearm of the kind that, the shotgun that killed Paul. When it comes to Maggie, it was extremely upsetting. And forensically speaking, there's so much movement going on. And one of the conversations we were having with court watchers on Twitter was about the positions of the body. And one of the things I really liked about the pathologist was she helped us understand that in very simple terms. So for me, as she's talking, and here I am as a crime scene reconstructionist, and I'm analyzing and I'm thinking about the emotionality and the behavior, but then I'm coupling that with what she's talking about, evidence on the body. It's talking about this motion. Because on the diagrams in an autopsy, you only have what the body looks like standing up. So you have everything documented as a person is standing. But that's not what was happening with Maggie. As she was describing, Maggie's position is bent over. And that is a real, yes, this diagram that's on the screen now, it's very important to recognize that this is the body just as a standing up or a lying down position. You have to consider not only the movement of the shooter, but also the movement of the victim and how this moves. And so one of the conversations was, you know, how can you have an upward shot? You know, what about their heights versus the height of Alex Murdaugh or some other shooter, something like that? And all of those forensically can be tested using the scientific method, which is replicable by either side, so prosecution or defense. It doesn't work for the prosecution or defense. It's simply, and as you said earlier, there are experts that can have various opinions, but it really comes down to shooting reconstruction. And now we know what happened. Let's now understand how it happened.
Right. So now we know what happened. And I just want to point out that was an exhibit that you just referenced that our producers put up on the screen quickly that was introduced into court of the shots and where they were on the body of Maggie. These exhibits are released at the end of every day, and then they're posted on courttv.com. So our viewers can go and look at all the exhibits that have come into evidence at this point in time, absent today's that get released later. That's the court's order. Let me ask you one more question. So I still go back to, in looking at the how this happened, can the experts have very divergent opinions? Meaning, can be an expert that could come in and support a defense theory and blow the state's theory out of the water as to how this happened?
Yes, I mean, there are definitely various different experts that will have various opinions. Some experts, and I've been doing this for a few decades, like you, 2 decades at least, I have seen experts who are very conservative, who don't go out on a thin limb, who can replicate their science, who know how to do experimentation to prove what they're going to testify to. And as this doctor said, this pathologist, she said, based on my experience, I know this. I know that this is the way that these gunshot wounds behave. And then there are other experts who are extremely, they're just a lot more liberal with their opinions, where they will go out on a thin limb. And then there's the ones that are conservative. Can you have a conflict between literally 2 pathologists that think an exit wound is an entrance wound and an entrance wound is an exit wound? Absolutely. And then, of course, how it happened, how far away was the shooter from the victim? That's another area that they can all have differences of opinions on, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a pathologist testify for the defense.
I was going to say, Laura, you and I are thinking alike, because I too think that the defense is likely an expert that's going to support their theories of fact. And I can tell you, exciting that the cameras come down off the seal. All that means is people are going to start coming back in the courtroom. A perfect time to take a break. When we come back, we're expecting cross-examination of the forensic accountant from the Attorney General's office. There's a live shot. We'll be right back.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, disgraced attorney Alec Murdaugh stands trial for the murders of his wife and son. We'll take a closer look at the newly released body cam footage of the murders from the first responding officers.
I was probably gone an hour and a half from my mom's, and I saw them about 45 minutes before that.
Court TV teams are live from South Carolina with all the very latest.
Closing Arguments tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
Mr. Bernie.
Afternoon, Mr.
What you've done, you did analysis of various bank accounts.
The stolen funds were all
Courtroom. While we wait, let's bring in forensic criminologist Dr. Laura Petler. And Laura, I'm glad to have a non-attorney, because I have to ask you this from the non-legal perspective. Hearing this testimony about bottom line, this witness could say where the money went, and a lot of money went even back to the bank, loan payments, more than $4 million of interest. Do you think that's a motive that a jury might buy as a reason why Alec Murdaugh allegedly killed the wife and the son?
Ashley, I am not of that opinion. I am of a looking at the scene opinion, and the crime scene is a reflection of the personality of the offender. And in this particular scene, the motive to me appears to be very angry. And I think that, yes, the financial stress creates maybe a feeling of being exposed, and he's uncomfortable. He knows this is going to happen. Is that the reason he he kills his wife and son, as the state is alleging here. I don't think that's it. You know, motives for murder can be so simple, and they can also be with something that happens just heinously.
Man,
So a
YouTube's
lot of the
bugging.
pre-planning that they're offering, it might not have happened. This might have just been a spur of the moment.
Well, we're just going to have to wait and see what is this jury going to do. But listen, now the testimony, it's going to get good, folks. Marion Proctor, Maggie Murdoch's sister, has taken the witness stand. Let's go back into court.
Oh, wow.
I'm Marion Proctor, Procter.
Good afternoon, Ms. Proctor.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead and tell the jury, do you have any relationship to Maggie and Paul?
I am Maggie's sister, and Paul is my nephew.
Can you pull that mic just a little bit closer or slide your chair up just a little bit so you don't have to lean forward?
Okay.
And is that a fresh bottle of water there?
It is.
Oh, it is? That's your water?
Yes.
Go ahead. If you would tell us a little bit about yourself, just where you grew up and just a little bit about yourself so they get to know you just a little bit, please.
Okay. I grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina. Maggie and I did. She was my only sibling with two parents. And we
Wow, he's grinning.
both went to college, both married, both lived in South Carolina. We've been here ever since. I'm married. I have 3 daughters, and we live in the Charleston area.
Where did Maggie go to college?
South Carolina.
Did she go somewhere else and then transfer to South Carolina?
She did.
How far apart are you and Maggie?
5 years.
And your parents, what are their names?
Terry and Kennedy.
And do y'all have any other siblings, or was it just you and Maggie?
Just Maggie and me.
Growing up, being 7 years apart as younger folks, was that a bit of an age difference as y'all grew up?
It was. For children, that's a lot. So, I was in college. She was in high school. So we weren't super close when we were children, but later on, as our lives became more similar, we became very close.
And how long ago do you think that relationship grew very close?
When the children were little, we did a lot together. It was easy. As they got older with, their commitments, sports and things like that, it was mostly holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. And then when we both became empty nesters, we were having a really good time.
Y'all talk almost every day?
Almost every day.
Okay.
Tell the jury a little bit about Maggie. How would you describe her as somebody, just so they can get an idea of?
Well, here, I'll put this video in the link. I thought it was going to be like, it must have been a live testimony or something. I thought it was going to be actually, I mean, you see him smiling like that. It's like, whoa. He's like grinning and smiling and stuff. I don't know. I haven't been able to watch the case. Is that how he normally acts when people are up there testifying that he knows, or? I think this happened around 4 or 5 o'clock. There was a news crew out covering a story of somebody that was unalived, and then the person came up and then fired upon them. And I think this happened around 4 or 5 p.m. my time, maybe. This is in Florida. And Brian Etton's covering for Cuomo.
Okay, we've got some breaking news, and it's really just an awful, awful story coming out of Orlando, Florida, where we are told that a reporter and a photographer out doing their jobs were shot, and that one of them has died. Apparently, they were out covering a story involving another shooting that happened with a mother and a 9-year-old who were also shot in the area. The suspect is in custody right now. The
Thank
reporter and
God.
photographer were in their vehicle when they were shot. We're obviously trying to get more information. All of this just coming in. We'll let you know as soon as we find out anything more. But just tragic. Obviously, our hearts are with those journalists tonight.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go.
Yeah, that came across there real quick, and I'm like, ooh. But I'm surprised that's all they have, considering it's been 4 hours. And I thought this was interesting too. Pilot takes selfie with Chinese spy balloon before it was shot down.
One lucky U.S. fighter pilot got a selfie with one of the world's biggest rising stars. Good luck.
Come on, YouTube.
That's the Chinese spy balloon.
Whoa, look at how big the
High above Montana, February 3rd. Can't wait till it's on Cameo. The photo was taken by an Air Force pilot.
Look at how big that freaking... Wow. Those solar panels are as big as a damn balloon.
That's the Chinese spy balloon. High above Montana, February 3rd. Can't wait till it's on Cameo. The photo was taken by an Air Force pilot behind the controls of a U-2 aircraft. That is Pedro's favorite jet.
It is.
Just learned in the commercial break.
Big fan.
This gives us a different perspective of the 200-foot tall balloon and that payload. The U.S. government shot it down a few days later. Of course, remember, like I said, it was 200 feet tall, very, very big. They said they didn't shoot it down sooner because they were worried the debris might hit somebody.
200
The government
feet
maintains
tall.
it wasn't capable of any kind of, quote, significant spying.
Yeah, it was a
Bullshit.
weather balloon. That's what.
Bullshit. It just so happened to go over sensitive areas. Look at that thing. What does it need all that power for, right? I don't know. I don't know what a regular weather balloon looks like, so maybe that's what they look like, but I wouldn't think they would. I don't know. Come on, YouTube. That's interesting. Okay, case closed, or is it? We might get into that Friday night. Brian Koberger groupies spark outrage. Nancy Grace. Is this an actual video? Sparks outrage. That's a 20-minute video. We might get back to that. Let me see what else. Ooh, there's a special from King 5 Seattle. Half-hour special. Buster Murdaugh was well coached, knew what he needed to say. Killer is short. Okay, we'll listen to some Nancy Grace talk about the 5'2" to 5'4". Right? What do they need to know the weather here for? I don't know. Maybe that's what weather balloons look like. I just wouldn't think they would need all that solar power if it's a weather balloon, but I don't know. I don't make them. Killer is short. I want to hear more about
Chris
this.
McDonough, fat fingering means something different. It
What?
means you obscure the thing you mean to click on with your finger. That's what fat fingering a phone means. That you can't see the screen because of your fingers are in the wrong place. It does not explain looking up by name a local restaurant right after you call 911 and you're thumbing through looking at your friend's bikini pictures.
Yeah, Nancy, I mean, it
What?
just doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, the gentleman is standing right there. His son's, body parts are separated from his body.
Ooh.
His wife has been riddled with bullets. You might as well check to see what's for dinner this evening. And oh, hey, there's a couple of fallacious photographs. I might as well take a look at those too while I'm waiting for the authorities to arrive. You're 100% right. It just does not fit the narrative of the totality of these circumstances.
And I'm going to give it to Joshua Ritter, high-profile defense attorney joining us, someone that is cold toward his wife and son and is looking up his next
I don't know.
dinner date online where he's going to have dinner. That does not a killer make.
I don't know.
But I can tell you this much. It's not good. Would you at least agree with that, Joshua?
Oh, 100%. I mean, listen, the picture that it creates is absolutely awful. And they did it, the prosecution did a good job of laying that out, that like you're literally standing next to the bullet-riddled dead bodies of your wife and child. I don't even know if you could be on your phone at all and it make any kind of explanation. And what explanation are they going to provide for at that moment?
Right.
What he's thinking about is a restaurant location. There has better be a really good explanation for it. Otherwise, like we said, doesn't make him a killer, but certainly those jurors.
Joshua Ritter, let me just throw it out what I think I would have done in that situation. Much what the state did. I go easy on Buster Murdaugh because I feel bad for him. He's lost his mother and his brother, and his dad's on trial for double murder. He's lost everything that matters, and that's his family. However, I think I would argue it to the jury in the end. You saw Buster. Didn't your heart go out to him? Now, let's analyze what he said about the expiration date on that reward. You know he didn't do that. That was his father's money, his father's idea, father's release. He didn't know why there was an expiration date, but Alex Murdaugh knew because he didn't want anybody to come forward with the truth that he is, in fact, a double killer. Think about it. I think that's what I would do with that. I would save it for closing arguments.
Yeah, 100%. And really, the more you talk about it, Nancy, you brought this up, it's a missed opportunity by the defense that they didn't bring it up themselves on direct. Why didn't they realize that was a weak point that needed to be addressed? Here you have a person testifying who can essentially testify as a mouthpiece for his father and go, hey, by the way, you guys put an expiration date on this. What was the reason for that? And it would have completely deflated this moment for the prosecution on cross. Missed opportunity that was exploited by the prosecution.
That's interesting. Man. But the trial's just moving right along. I wish YouTube was. There you go. Why is it taking so long? Okay. Where's that one at? I thought it was either Michelle After Dark or Bed Crime. Okay, that's 26. Koberger's innocence debunked. Now, it's been a while since we watched some Michelle walks. Let me see. That one's 26. I'd rather watch this one. Oh, yeah. I wanted to. Yeah, that's right. We were going to watch this, everybody. I wanted to chill back and watch some of this. What a cool channel. What a cool channel. So creative. Yes, I've wondered about this. This was from almost 2 days ago, I think. It's close. But I've always wondered if there was more to all this when we started looking it up a long time ago. I think it was right after that first Kim call. We started looking it up on the next show after that. And it was pretty interesting stuff. Plus the stuff that Kim call was saying too. So it would be interesting to hear what else more. I'm not sure if I'll do the whole 29, but I'm definitely going to check out a good chunk of it. I do enjoy the Crime Circus. Thanks for hopping up. If anybody, or hopping in, if anybody would like to hop up, you're more than welcome. Let's go ahead and request a link.
I take a deep investigation into the happenings in Moscow, Idaho, starring
Is that too
Brian
loud?
Koberger. In today's video, we are going to discuss
Is that too loud, or should I turn it? It sounds really loud to me for some reason.
a lot of information in a short amount of time. We are going to talk about Brantley Kopaka, Brian Christopher Koberger. We might even discuss BTK. That's Bind Torture KILL. And of course, we can't forget about Buddy. I know that's a lot of B's, just like there's a lot of J's in this case. Speaking of Buddy, I believe I found another connection in this case. We're going to talk about that in this video.
Oh, is there any more talk about this Justin person? Is there any more talk about this Justin person? Who are they? The what is it? Papa Roger? Is that who they're getting linked up? Is it this Justin person and this Papa Roger person? And if so, what's the connection? I thought I had a video. It must be from a few more days ago or something. I could have swore I had a video on it. I'll look for it while we're watching this one. I'll see if I can find it, but I could have swore I was hearing he was Papa Roger. Do you know why people thought he was Papa Roger? Did he say he was Papa Roger? I'm just curious how people got to that. I'm gonna see if I can find that video though, while we're watching this, and if I do find it, I'll probably interrupt and then go back to this. But definitely want to check this out.
Super important in this video, we are going to have a brief discussion on Dylan and Bethany, the surviving roommates. So many of you have questions about them. Speaking of questions, I'm going to answer some more of your questions at the end of this video. Now, without further ado, let's just jump right into this 7th episode and see what I have to say for myself this time. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crime Circus. My name is Drip Drop, and I'll be your host as always. This is my 7th episode in this multi-part series. If you haven't seen the other episodes on Moscow, Idaho and Brian Koberger, I have a playlist on this channel, and I'll be leaving a link down below, as well as a link to my second channel, The Crime Circus Cult, where I have another Moscow, Idaho video over there. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to get my second channel to 100,000 subscribers, and I can only do that with your help. Each and every single one of you out there means everything to me. So if you could help me do that, I'd appreciate you forever. Either way, I appreciate you watching this video right here. And speaking of this video right here, let's start it with a boom. For those of you that aren't familiar, Brantley Kopaka was a soldier with PTSD. and he was shot and passed away forever from SWAT team in Pullman, Washington. He lived about 2 miles away from Brian Kohberger. At around this exact moment in time, Brian Kohberger and his father were being pulled over 2 times in a row in Indiana. They knew all about the shooting that was happening in Pullman, Washington. Brian's father looked a little sketched out, and Brian looked even more sketched out. If I was a police officer, I would have taken them both into custody just for the way they looked at me. But I guess it's good I'm not in law enforcement. Anyways, BLK, that's Brentley Kopaka, lived approximately 2 miles away from Brian Christopher Kohberger. That's BCK. Pullman, Washington is a small, similar to Moscow, Idaho. I really don't think there's a whole lot of action that happens in these small towns in the middle of northern Idaho and Washington, but apparently it was an action-packed couple of months between October 21st and December 15th, before, after, and everywhere in between. There's some really specific dates and times within, and we're going to have a brief discussion on some of those right here. Brentley Kopaka was a soldier. He fought overseas in Afghanistan in Operation Freedom. He earned a Purple Heart because he developed a brain injury as he was overseas fighting for America. Thank you so much for serving, Brentley Kopaka. We really appreciate you here at Crime Circus. And I know a lot of you ladies watching this right now really appreciate a man in uniform. And some of you men out there appreciate a man in uniform too. So shout out to all of you. Anyways, Brent had PTSD. He had some psychological issues. He struggled with life after he was discharged from the military. He lived in an apartment in Pullman, Washington. And we're going to take a look at some pictures right here and now. This is a picture of Brentley Kopaka right here from his military days. He was a bit younger here from when he passed away in his late 30s in Pullman, Washington. But this is to give you an idea of what he looked like next to the American flag because he was an American soldier. This is a picture of Brent when he was a little older in his 30s. This is to give you a better representation of what he may have looked like when he passed away. Looking at this photo right here, this picture was posted by Brent Kopaka approximately 1 week before he was attacked by SWAT team in his own apartment. He posted it on his Facebook page and it says, "I see you too." And you can see the spelling is a bit odd and he didn't put any spaces in those words. I think that's some type of clue, but I'm just not sure what that clue means. Maybe one of you out there watching this right now understands this clue and can help me answer these questions. If so, leave a comment down below and let me know, what does ICQ2 mean? Is this any sort of reference to Inside Looking from Reddit? I'm going to put that picture on the screen right now. For those of you that may or may not remember, Inside Looking is rumored to have been Brian Kohberger because this person on Reddit seemed to have a lot of inside information and they were acting super sketch. And quite a few Reddit users actually said that they reported that user to the FBI tip line as well as to the Moscow PD tip.
Yeah, we went through that whole Reddit post. That was very interesting. I believe I have it in the title in one of the older shows. Yeah, very interesting. I think that was a 2.5 hour read through. Very crazy. That person was very upfront with their opinions on what took place, why it took place, and how it took place.
Tip line. Within weeks of those tips coming in, Brian Kohberger was under arrest and Brentley Kopaka was passed away. So, quite interesting. Inside Looking had an eyeball as his profile picture, and for some reason, in the middle of all that happening, Brentley Kopaka decided to post "I see you too" with a picture of his eyeball. We are going to take a super zoom into his eyeball as far as we can. There is a reflection happening inside of his eyeball. We may all see something a little different here, but I'd like to know what you see because what I see kind of disturbs me. But I don't want to be the one to plant any seeds in your mind, and don't read any other comments before you leave a comment if you're going to comment about what you think you see in a reflection of Brent's eye. This is a deceased soldier, and whatever we see in his eye may be a connection or a clue to what happened in Moscow, Idaho. But then again, it might not. We just don't know. This is a...
That was weird. It looks like somebody's standing there looking at him and somebody's sitting down. It looks like somebody's sitting down on a chair facing that way, and then somebody's standing there with their hands in their pockets. I don't know. Very odd. I'm going to take a screenshot of that real quick.
You see, because what I see kind of disturbs me. But I don't want to be the one to plant any seeds in your mind. And don't read any other comments before you leave a comment if you're going to comment about what you think you see in a reflection of Brent's eye. This is a deceased soldier, and whatever we see in his eye may be a connection or a clue to what happened in Moscow, Idaho. But then again, it might not. We just don't know. This is a guessing show, folks. And I'm not going to spread misinformation on the show like some other channels may enjoy doing. Anybody mentioned in this video is presumed innocent until proven guilty in the court of law.
Whoa, what happened?
And none of this information. That's a legal disclaimer. Moving on. Now what we're looking at here on the screen is somebody named Drip Drop. You may recognize him from this very show here at Crime Circus. He had nothing to do with Moscow, Idaho. But in my opinion, he is damn good at reporting on the Moscow, Idaho happenings from 1122 King Road from that fateful night on November 13th, 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate you watching this show. I really, really do. And on that note, we are going to have a very brief interruption to this program, and I'll be back in just a minute. So many of my friends and family have been in accidents in the past, and they didn't know what to do because it was too complicated. That's all changed with me in the years 2011 and 2000. Lawyer. Seriously, clicks or less without ever having to leave your couch. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/circus or dial pound LAW, pound 529 directly from your phone. Now back to Brentley in the year specific about a certain age range. That surely means you've eliminated years such as 2014, 16, as well as 2009 and 10. Otherwise, it would be a much broader range, such as we're looking for any white Hyundai Elantra. Well, it turns out the Hyundai Elantra that they found was a 2014, but they weren't looking for a 2014. They were looking for a 2011 and 2013. Now let's take a look at the car that's parked at Brantley Kopaka's parents' house. What we see in the driveway of Brantley Kopaka's parents' house is a Hyundai Elantra that appears to be a 2011 to 2013. Is this the car that police were initially looking for? Keep in mind, Brian drove a 2014 and they never said they were looking for a 2014. White and silver cars can look very similar on body cam and surveillance cameras late at night with bad lighting. I saw a lot of intelligent online sleuths speculating that it may have been an actual silver Hyundai Elantra that the police were looking for long before Brian Koberger was ever on the radar and before he was arrested or taken into custody or any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
not saying that there's any connection to this vehicle and the crime, but it certainly sparks interest. This is one heck of a coincidence, folks. Brian Koberger is fleeing Washington in a Hyundai Elantra. Brent Kopaka passes away and there's a Hyundai Elantra parked at his parents' house. This is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on. As you can see in this picture right here, this is taken from a news article. This is the apartment complex that Brentley Kopaka lived in, and this is apparently where SWAT team did what they did. And I am going to draw your attention to the lower left corner to this car that happens to be covered in snow. And in my opinion, this looks like a silver Hyundai Elantra. I could be wrong about this, but a lot of you out there are a lot smarter than me with identifying vehicles. But this looks like the vehicle that's parked at Brent's parents' house. Is it a Hyundai Elantra or not? And if it is it the same Hyundai Elantra? There's a lot of unanswered questions in this story, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to take a look at a social media post involving Brent's machete, as well as some things in the background of the picture that are very eye-opening. Let's take a look. This was a post on social media from one of Brent Kopaka's friends. He says, having a drink with Brent. I put his machete in the stool so no one can sit in it. God damn it, I effing miss you. I know, you hated it when I said God damn it. That's probably why I say it so much, because I'm a D-I-C-K. Ha ha,
What?
love you, dude. Well, we know Brantley Kopaka was a religious man, and he didn't like anything bad said in the Lord's good name. He also owned this big machete. His former friend is apparently having a drink with Brent's ghost. Now let's zoom into this picture and take a look at some of Brent's possessions. We see he's got this machete here that's stuck into a stool. Behind the machete is a Pennywise poster. That's from the Stephen King movie and book, It. That's a really creepy clown. Zooming in further behind, we see he's got some Pennywise shot glasses. He's got a photo from the It movie. He's got another photo of Pennywise from the movie It. He's got an alcohol bottle. And if we zoom in over here, interestingly enough, we see Ghostface from the Scream series. For those of you that aren't familiar, Ghostface from Scream used a big K-bar knife to hack up and slice college students and other miscellaneous people in a long-running slasher flick. It's a horror movie. It's who
That's
Brian
crazy
Draper...
because that's the movie that we talked about was screened right before, like 2 weeks before the crimes took place. There was a screening there, a special screening of the movie Scream. Wow.
From the Scream series. For those of you that aren't familiar, Ghostface from Scream used a big K-bar knife to hack up and slice college students and other miscellaneous people in a long-running slasher flick. It's a horror movie. It's who Brian Draper was obsessed with from Pocatello, Idaho. He's another slasher. Anyways, let's see what else we see in this photo. Now we are going to take a look directly above Ghostface's picture. And what we see here appears to be the handle to a knife hanging on the wall. So we see some horror movie stuff. We see some shot glasses. We see the handle of a knife. We see a picture of Ghostface. We see something inside of this little sandwich bag here, but I'm not exactly sure what that is. And of course, you get the machete up front, along with this big poster of Pennywise. Also down here on the stool, maybe some of you out there can identify exactly what this is, but this appears to be some type of grenade from the Army. So he certainly liked his weapons, and unfortunately he had PTSD. So apparently Brantley Kopaka battled demons throughout his life. He had PTSD, that's post-traumatic stress disorder. It happens to the best of us. Happens to some people with a bad breakup, happens to some people in a bad car accident, and it happens to many soldiers that go overseas to fight for our freedom here in America. Now let's take a look at some of these other pictures I found. Brantley Kopaka was a paratrooper in the military. That means he jumped out of airplanes and rode around on a parachute. I did a Google search to see what kind of weapons they carry. And apparently he carried this little knife with an orange handle called the M724. According to Google, it says the M724 is the current issue and perhaps the most widely recognized switchblade knife in the world. It is still in use by U.S. military pilots, paratroopers, and rescue crews, as well as NATO forces around the world. Here's a couple other images of this knife. So yes, this former soldier with PTSD really liked his weapons and he liked his knives. Let's take a look at this random video I found on the internet. This is a paratrooper coming out of the sky, and he ends up landing on somebody's balcony, as you can see right here.
Whoa.
Many months of researching this case, a lot of people have speculated that the killer must have entered on the third floor from the third floor balcony. Some people think that the person might have jumped up from the couch to the balcony, but that's just not possible unless the assailant was about 25 feet tall. That balcony is way up there. But do you think it's possible somebody could have came out from an airplane and landed on the balcony with a parachute on? Some of you might think that's crazy, but I just showed you in a video how that's quite possible, how someone can use a parachute and land on someone's balcony. And no, I am not accusing Brantley Kopaka of committing this crime. Like I said earlier in this video, everybody mentioned this video is presumed innocent. It is very possible that Brian Kohberger was attempting to frame Brantley Kopaka, a former soldier with PTSD, for this crime, which may have been why he planted the sheath. And it may have been why the anonymous 911 call was called in and Brent ended up passed away. Brian may have viewed Brent as the perfect patsy for this crime. Yeah, Brian is entitled to his fair day in court where the evidence will be analyzed. He hasn't even had his evidentiary hearing yet. And at the evidentiary hearing, the defense will get to dissect some of the evidence that's been presented in court to see if there's enough evidence to even hold Brian Koberger in a cage. Now moving on, let's talk about Buddy. Buddy was a 12-year-old dog that lived in Moscow, Idaho. Approximately 3 weeks before the horrible happening on that fateful night on November 13th, Buddy passed away in a horrible, vicious manner. I'm going to keep this segment as short as possible because I know a lot of you out there cannot stand to hear about animal cruelty. If that's the case, please fast forward about 3 to 5 minutes from this point right here. I don't want you to have to endure hearing anything you don't want to hear. Buddy was let out by his owners to use the restroom, and he was never seen again until his body was found. Buddy passed away due to knife wounds, but not just any knife wounds. He was SKINNED. That's right, folks. It was really brutal and really bad, and this was just a little innocent, harmless dog. This dog had never harmed anyone, and his senior citizen owners loved him very much. Now, the numerology connection to 1122 King Road. The address where Buddy lived was 2111. I'm going to put these numbers on the screen. You let me know.
Sorry, everybody, if it's acting all crazy tonight. It's all crazy on my side. I apologize, everybody, if it's YouTube's being crazy. I apologize. I don't know. It seems like YouTube chat's working half the time. Half the time it's not. YouTube's being super buggy. I apologize, everybody. At least it's not a special. And speaking of special, I'll be doing my Ohio chemical disaster stuff again tomorrow night. Yeah, I apologize. It's just really buggy on my end, and I'm getting messages from other people it's buggy too, so I apologize. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's going on with YouTube? At least it's not doing those glitchy half video things anymore. But, I don't know. Maybe it's these storms. I'm not sure.
Any connection to the Amityville was 112. King Road was 1122. Buddy's passing was 2111. And Buddy's passing happened on 10/21/22. Moscow was 11/13/22. Now the significance of October 21st when Buddy passed. Apparently, Brian Koberger got in big trouble on that day in college. And apparently by that time, he had already been stalking the girls for months. A lot of people have left me comments letting me know that there's no way a vegan would ever hurt an animal. But if you've done a simple Google search like I have, you would see that a lot of vegans have been arrested for animal cruelty and animal passing away. I'm not saying all vegans do that, but there are a lot of news stories about that. Just like non-vegans, vegans can be deranged and commit senseless acts of violence. There's a lot of bad things in this world, and that's what I investigate here at Crime Circus.
I don't know, Kevin. We'll see.
All the bad things and all the bad people.
We'll see if anybody.
My goal is to get justice for all the families.
We'll see if anybody awesome hops on tomorrow. We'll see.
Deserves justice. Now, to give you a better idea, so you can really visualize where Buddy lived in Moscow in comparison to Passing Away House, where the Idaho 4 event happened, you can take a look at this overhead view from Google Maps, and you can see it's approximately 10 minutes away from 1122 King Road. It is pretty much the furthest, most north, out-of-the-way house in all of Moscow, Idaho. It is on its own little private dirt road. There appears to be 3 other houses on this private drive. And apparently Buddy was found in this field the next day, even though he was let out to play back here. Nobody's been arrested for this crime. Nobody's been held accountable. According to the owners, nobody's been back to investigate further. The owners are willing to have Buddy exhumed for further testing, but nobody's come back to check in on Buddy. As you can see in this news, Idaho police allow Passing Away to beep of dog found filleted nearby. And below it, it says Moscow police say incident of beeped dog unrelated to beeping of university students. I have a very serious question for my audience. How could the police possibly say that it's unrelated when nobody's been held accountable and there's no suspect in Buddy's passing?
Exactly.
Apparently, Brian Koberger's cell phone pinged in Moscow, Idaho 12 times leading up to November 13th. Until somebody is arrested and convicted for Buddy's passing, it's impossible to say it's unrelated. The police also said there was no evidence of any stalker. Well, apparently Brian Koberger is the evidence of there being a stalker, because we all know what happened on November 13th, and that wasn't just a random act. That was infatuation, obsession, a sickness, and visual snow did not stop Brian Koberger from seeing those victims, finding his way around the house, or taking the long way to and from the crime scene and driving all the way across the country. I'm starting to think Brian Koberger didn't really have visual snow anymore. I just can't see how he would have been able to operate and do all the things he did, or why.
Well, that's because of the strict diet he was, when we were reading through his stuff when he was 16, 17, the posts on that chat board when he was talking about all the experiences he was going through with the visual snow and stuff. That's when he was starting this diet that his friend's uncle or something was given to him. And maybe that's why he was so strict, to the point where he wouldn't even eat food off of a plate that could have had meat on it prior to it being washed. So maybe that's why he was so strict, because he found a way where he wasn't getting the effects from the visual snow. Because how do you go into boxing or any kind of physical sport or activity when the visual snow comes because of blood pressure? So I don't know. The diet had to have worked.
His father would willingly be a passenger in a vehicle driving across the country with somebody having visual snow as the driver. I know I certainly wouldn't do that, because life is far too precious to trust somebody with visual snow to drive you anywhere. Shout out to all my kind viewers that have visual snow. I just wouldn't be a passenger in your vehicle. Nothing personal. So to make a long story short, not everybody has taken the crime against Buddy very serious, but I'm a strong believer in justice for Buddy. Leave me a comment down below if you want justice for Buddy too. All eyes and all lights need to be shined on what happened to poor Buddy. Moving on. I've received a lot of questions and even comments stating I've been wrong about a few things. We are going to discuss the keypad door locks. It seems there's a lot of people convinced that the girls had keypad locks on their bedroom doors. Folks, the girls did not keypad locks. So let's take a look at these pictures. As you can see on the front of the house on 1122 King Road, the front door had a keypad lock. That is the only door in the entire house that had a keypad lock. Wow. The back door of the house was a sliding glass door. And by all accounts, that was never locked.
Wow.
I have a sliding glass door on my house too, and I never lock it. I probably should, because I could become a victim. But similar to Freddy Krueger or Byron Smith on Elm Street, I welcome somebody into my house because I'm prepared. I'm ready. I don't lock my doors here. Invited or uninvited, do you really want to step into the circus tent? As we can see here, this is a picture of Dylan, one of the surviving roommates. This picture was taken on the second floor in the bedroom next to the kitchen. This is the bedroom that Brian Koberger allegedly walked by 3 times without ever harming Dylan. This picture was taken just a few weeks to a month before the crime, and if we zoom in past Dylan's belly, past her tight clothing that she's wearing, we can see just a good old-fashioned regular doorknob on a bedroom door. It's got one of those really cheapy, basic little turn locks, and that's all there is to it. There's no keypad there. There's been a lot of people trolling in this case, a lot of false information, fake news. You can't believe everything you see or read on this case. You must take everything with a grain of salt, and everything must be presumed guessing. Some things are just really easy to debunk. We look at that picture, we see there's no keypad. There's been rumors of Xana's father driving from Utah all the way up to Moscow, Idaho in the weeks leading up to what happened to fix the door lock. Besides him allegedly saying it, I've seen no proof of that, and I find it highly unlikely that somebody's parent would have to take a 10-hour road trip to fix a door lock when there's plenty of college boys that are quite capable of fixing a door lock. And I don't believe any of those people locked their doors in that house because they were social bugs. That's why they had so many parties and people were just welcome to come in and out. And dozens, if not hundreds, of people had the key code to the front door anyways. That house was basically a stop and go. You could come and go anytime you wanted. Nobody locked their doors. That was just normal behavior. Now moving on, let's jump into a few questions that I'm going to answer that you, the audience, asked. I'm going to see if I can give you answers to these questions before we wrap up this video. A lot of you ask a lot of good questions, but I'm only going to answer a few right here. Let's jump right into this. Drip drop. When Dylan had her door open, was the light on in her room as the bushy eyebrow guy came by? Well, I've certainly never been in Dylan's bedroom in Moscow, Idaho, and Dylan has a wonderful boyfriend named Quinn from Boise, Idaho, and I don't think he'd be very happy if Drip Drop was in his girl's bedroom. As for the light being on, I certainly have no way to know that one way or the other. If Dylan did have the light on and Brian did have visual snow and he was walking by Dylan's bedroom, it probably would have burned his retinas and he would have felt a lot of pain and disorientation as he was trying to escape. However, Dylan's light was probably off because I believe she was trying to sleep and she was startled by the noises she was hearing. And when you're startled by noises you're hearing, you sneak and creep and peek with the light off. You don't want to be seen, so she probably just peeked her eyeball out of the crack in the door. Next question. Wasn't Dylan's room above Bethany's room? I'm going to show you a picture of the 1122 Moscow, Idaho house where the crime happened, and I'm going to show you exactly where each of those girls' bedrooms were. As you can see in this picture, this is a front side angle of the crime scene house. On the bottom left, right here, where you can see that arrow pointing, that's where Bethany lived. That's the first floor. Directly above Bethany's room was the living room. Now, towards the back of the house, across from the kitchen, that would be Dylan's room on the second floor, which was directly below Maddie's room. Hopefully that clears that up for you. On to the next question. Drip drop. Did BK lock the two rooms after the passing aways to gain escape time? Could Dylan didn't notice anything except closed rooms where people did not answer when called and just some beep drops in the living room? That's been an early on rumor in this case that the bedroom doors were locked, but I just don't believe that's the case. Recently, I've heard that Ethan and Xana's best friend found them, and there was no discussion of picking any locks or kicking any doors down. So I don't believe that he locked any doors, and he probably just did his stab, slice, and then he escaped as fast as he could as he peeled out in his car. I could see Brent doing this, but not Brian. Have you looked into Dylan's boyfriend? Well, we're all entitled to our opinions. Some people do believe Brent could have done this. Others believe that Brian's being framed and that Brian couldn't have done this. Did Brent do it? Did Brian do it? Did somebody else do it? We just don't know because we haven't seen enough evidence in this case to know for sure one way or the other. In the American justice system, in the court of law, everyone's entitled to their day in court to look at the evidence. Otherwise, there's really no point of having a defense attorney if you have no defense, if everyone is just automatically guilty the second they're arrested. It is possible Brian was attempting to frame Brent. Some people also believe it's possible Brent did this and was attempting to frame Brian, or that they were working together as a team, the two BKs. Brian did seem to have an infatuation with having an unknowing, unwilling partner in a crime. Brian Draper had his little sidekick in Pocatello, Idaho, Tori Adamsick. They stabbed and sliced up Cassie. If you haven't seen their interrogations, those are available right here on this channel. So let's look at this picture right here. This is Dylan to the left, and to the right, that's Dylan's the boyfriend. That's Quinn. Some people have given him a hard time. Some people have made full-blown videos about him saying he must have done it. Well, I may be one of the only channels in the world to stick up for Quinn Kelly, but Quinn Kelly has never been to Moscow, Idaho. He has a Snapchat picture of himself taken in Boise, Idaho on the night that this crime happened. Some people might say, oh, how convenient. That's an alibi, folks. He says he's never been to Moscow, and I have no reason not to believe him. Some people have said some mean things about him, but I'm not going to condone cyberbullying here at Crime Circus. Quinn Kelly is an innocent boy, and he loves Dylan very much. A lot of people have been attacked and slandered in this case, and nobody deserves that. I've even seen true crime YouTubers attacking each other on this case. That's not necessary. What matters in this case is the victims' families, and the perpetrator being brought to justice for this horrible crime.
Who.
Innocent people do not need to be dragged through the mud in this case. It's not right. So you might think that Quinn looks a little suspicious here in this picture. His tattoo might raise a red flag to you, but I don't think he had anything to do with this crime, folks. He had too much to lose, too much to live for. He didn't want to give up a girl like Dylan. He was enjoying his time with Dylan. A girl like Dylan is a once-in-a-lifetime girl, and it's never good to mess up things with a once-in-a-lifetime love. Anyways, this video's already gone on way too long. I hope I answered questions. I've learned a thing or two. Maybe you have some answers to some of my questions in this video. Maybe we'll solve this case together here at Crime Circus. Brian doesn't have court for a few more months. I do have a lot more information I've uncovered on this case. I try to keep these videos as short and action-packed with information as possible for you, the viewer, because your time is super important. I appreciate all of your support, all of my new Patreons that have been signing up, my new YouTube channel members. I appreciate you so much. I really do. If you could please go subscribe to my second YouTube channel, The Crime Circus Cult. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. If you like true crime videos and interrogations and Moscow, Idaho, go subscribe to my second channel. You're in for some real treats over there, and I have a lot more content coming ASAP. If you want to support this show financially, please consider joining my Patreon or YouTube membership, or hitting me up inside of the Cash app, Cash symbol Crime Circus. Your support means everything to me here, and if you don't want to support financially, please smash the like button, leave some comments, watch the advertisements, and enjoy the show. I've always got more videos in the works, never doubt that, because I really don't take days off behind the scenes. I live, breathe, and pass away for Crime Circus and the Crime Circus Cult. Anyway, stay tuned for more. Make sure the notification bell is turned on. And until next time, remember to stay safe out there. Because
Let me see if there's a link for that other one in here. Let me see. Second channel. Here we go.
We all lost this movie
Whoa.
together. So
Whoa,
that's
whoa,
it.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Which is
All right. Subscribe. True crime interrogations. So I wonder what the... Man, having two channels? It's already tough having one. All right, there's something that came out about the spill here. Surveillance video shows the timeline. So I definitely want to check that out. We'll get into some of these other ones tomorrow night. I got a crap ton on the chemical disaster stuff, so we'll definitely be having a show tomorrow night on there, and then Kevin should be joining us as well. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It'd be, man, 2 channels. I know there's some people that have like 4. It's like, geez. Maybe they don't work. I don't know.
We're following new developments in the train derailment and toxic chemical spill in Ohio. The National Transportation Safety Board confirms it will release its preliminary report tomorrow.
It's all buggy.
We're following new developments in the train derailment and toxic chemical
There we go.
spill in Ohio. The National Transportation Safety Board it will release its preliminary report tomorrow, nearly 3 weeks after the... That will coincide with a visit by the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg to the area. CNN's Miguel Marquez has more on this unfolding disaster and the urgent health concerns.
A massive effort underway to clean up creeks and water flowing in and around East Palestine, Ohio.
It is decimating our business.
In slow-going work. For those living here, building trust that the water and air is safe, the slow going is the cleanup itself.
It took, I think, Norfolk Southern 3 days, 4 days for us to get a partial list. Vinyl chloride, butyl acrylate, and benzene residue, and combustible liquids. What the hell are combustible liquids?
Right.
You know, it could be anything.
The makings of this disaster appears to have started somewhere between Alliance, Ohio, and the derailment in East Palestine. Surveillance video of the train in Alliance shows no signs of sparks coming from its wheels. There is a detector in Sebring, Ohio, that would indicate overheat, a so-called hot box detector.
Whoa, I've been to
It's
Sebring.
unclear if it detected any overheat, but in Salem, Ohio, just 13 miles further along, surveillance video
I wish it
clearly
would quit
shows sparks
spinning.
and bright lights coming from under a rail car at about the halfway point of the train. There is another hot box detector just down the track from where the surveillance video was taken, but it's not clear if it detected an overheat either. If it did, both the conductor and dispatcher would have been alerted to a heating issue. The NTSB said shortly before the derailment, a wayside defect detector alerted the crew to a mechanical issue. CNN estimates, based on the timestamps of the surveillance videos and distances between towns the train would have been traveling, an average of 49 miles per hour between Alliance and Salem, Ohio.
Wow,
and slowed
Alliance.
to an average of 29 miles per hour between Salem and East Palestine.
Wow.
Still not clear
I used
why
to go to
it
Alliance
slowed.
all the time
The
too.
derailment occurred around 8:55 p.m., shortly after the train passed Market Street in downtown
Whoa.
East Palestine. The EPA now ordering Norfolk Southern to pay for and clean up the entire disaster zone.
They have to put together a work plan that's going to be very prescriptive in terms of all of the cleanup.
And I do have the press conference from the EPA administrator and then clips from their press conference today too. We'll be getting into that tomorrow night.
How they will do it and the radius of that cleanup. They also have to explain to us, how they'll pay for it.
All of this as former President Trump visits
How
East
do you
Palestine,
clean that
an
up?
area of Ohio where he still enjoys enormous support.
The community has shown the tough and resilient heart of America, and that's what it is. This is really America right here.
I want to show you how difficult it is to clean up this mess. This is just one location where they are treating water that is contaminated. They aerate it. Those white buoys you see there, those are filters that pick up that toxic sludge that comes through. They are doing this throughout the area, and all organizations now saying that they will be here not for months, but for years.
Miguel Marquez on this team for us. Thank you very much. And this note, stay with CNN later tonight for a town hall on the toxic train disaster hosted by our own Jake Tapper. Ohio residents will speak out and try to get answers from top officials. It all begins tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Ooh.
Let's bring in CNN political director David Chalian and CNN national correspondent Kristen Holmes. Kristen, you've been following Trump's
I'll be
visit
looking
to Ohio
for that.
today, where he was very critical of President Biden. I want you and all of our viewers to listen to something else he said. Listen to this.
I sincerely hope that when your representatives and all of the politicians get here, including Biden, they get back from touring Ukraine, that he's got some money left over.
So, Kristen, is that message playing well? I assume it is with his base out there.
Well, if it absolutely is. I mean, we'd already heard from the mayor, that man that was standing right behind Trump in that clip you just played, who spoke on Fox News. He's a Trump supporter, and he basically lashed out at Biden for going to Ukraine, for spending money in Ukraine, when he said, this again is the mayor of East Palestine, said that they still needed help on the ground there, that Biden hadn't been on the ground there. And this is really part of what Trump's advisors were hoping to accomplish with this trip, to contrast former President Trump and President Biden and really highlight Trump's America First agenda that he has routinely pushed. The other thing to point out here is that we know from advisors that conservative commentators and conservative influencers have been calling on Trump for weeks to make this trip to Ohio. They believed that this was an area that was full of Trump supporters, that he could actually make it there, he could make an impact there by visiting. And it was clear today that that is accurate, that was one of the things they tried to prove. The other thing I want to just point out here that advisors had tried to accomplish and hoped to accomplish was to make Trump look presidential in this moment. And this trip really did mimic a White House disaster trip. He visited a site, he was flanked by local.
At least somebody fucking showed up. And if he probably wouldn't have went, I'm waiting for Aaron Brockovich to go. But I don't think all of a sudden he's going to show up and then everybody's like, oh, hey, let's talk about it.
Officials. So those were the two political things.
And David, I'm curious what you think, politically speaking. Should President Biden go to East Palestine now?
Oh, listen, I'm not in the business of advising President
status.
Biden, but I'll say I'll be shocked if he doesn't show up there at some point. There's a long tradition of presidents going to high-profile disaster sites. This president is well known for his empathy and trying to give voice to those that are afflicted by something like this tragedy in Ohio, and the comfort of a nation. That goes sort of across parties here. Listen, Joe Biden may do that, and it would be irrespective of the politics. I don't know if Donald Trump would have made this trip if it weren't in as friendly Trump territory. I mean, this was the way Trump likes it, right? A resounding welcome for him. He's extraordinarily popular there. Kristen noted that his advisors are eager to make him look presidential. It just reminds you of the unprecedented nature of the Trump candidacy. He was president, so he actually has been presidential, if you will, with the trappings of the office and all of it before for the country to see. The fact that his advisors think they need to recreate that image for Republican primary voters is interesting insight into where they think things stand.
What the fuck? And then they don't even tell me that it's ending. Oh my gosh, here we go. Here we go. Oh boy. What?
We're following new developments in the train derailment
YouTube.
and toxic chemical spill in Ohio. The National Transportation Safety Board confirms it will release.
This really tests your patience, you know, when it's been happening for like a fucking month. It really starts to test you. It's crazy. They were so hush hush. We're gonna, trust me, there's a lot to watch tomorrow night. It's gonna be interesting. And we can always, Kevin, we can just go into whatever SDS info you do have on whatever, and we can go into the other ones later. Because we got press conference. There's a lot to check out tomorrow night. So, and I might even, I don't know. We'll see what's up with Friday. I'm not sure. I might have to go into the chemical spill some more. There's just so much. And look at this right here. Trump raised the spear to East Palestine. Oh, is that Brian Enton? Let's watch that real quick. Yeah, I'm ready to talk some more of that.
And we are fortunate enough to be joined
I'm
by
ready
one
to
of those.
talk some more about this this disaster. I've had a couple-day break. I need to get back to it.
People joining President Jared Corbett is just a little more than a mile from the train crash site. He was very, very excited to see former President Trump today visit his town. So tell me, Jerry, did you go out to the event, and what did you make of the visit? We talked this morning. You were excited. Now that the visit is over, how are you feeling?
I'm still excited about it. I think President Trump did a wonderful job. He lowered the temperature and raised the spirit of everybody in this community, conservative and Democrat alike.
Interesting. Yeah, raise the spirit. And spirits need to be raised there right now. I mean, obviously, with everything that your town has been through. Trump is taking credit now for the federal response, saying that, all of these resources wouldn't be moving in if it wasn't for him and him announcing his visit. Let's listen to what he said today.
Unfortunately, as you know, in too many cases, your goodness and perseverance were met with indifference and betrayal in some cases. Biden and FEMA said they would not send federal aid to East Palestine under any circumstance. When I announced that I was coming, They changed their tune. It was an amazing phenomena.
So what do you think, Jerry? I mean, is he exaggerating, or do you believe that none of this would have happened in terms of the federal resources if it wasn't for Trump?
Well, the proof's in the pudding. They had plenty of time to make a move, and they did nothing. And I don't think they were going to do anything. I mean, the border is secure, right? That's what we get. Everything's okay.
They weren't.
Nothing to see over here. Now they have to look. Now they have to move. Now they got to get off of center and do something.
Yeah, I was watching earlier. Yeah, despite the bad weather too, there was quite a crowd there. And as I said in our opening, I mean, more eyeballs. How can that hurt? You need all the eyeballs you can get right now because you need to make sure that there's accountability. Jerry Corbyn, I'm so sorry for what you're going through in your town right now. Thanks for being on with us tonight.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to News Nation now.
See, I like it when they do that, you know, because most of the time I can only hear it. I can't watch the damn thing because I'm doing so many other things at the same time. That's why when they end these videos and there's no warning, it just totally throws everything out of whack. Because seriously, I rarely ever get to watch it. It's true. Yeah, I know. It makes you wonder what the economy would have been like instead of what it is today. I don't know. I got you. Not politically correct. What's up, JST? You know what I mean? And he showed the fuck up. Like, nobody else was talking. Like, Buttigieg and Biden, nobody was really talking about the shit. Nobody was holding these fuckers accountable. Then Trump shows up with a bunch of supplies, which, I mean, thank God. Like, you see all that bottled water? You'll see it tomorrow night on the special. A lot of bottled water. Like, thank God. And then, like that video said, he raised the spirits. I'm going to go back to this story here real quick. This is about that news crew that got shot.
A series of shootings, leaving 3 dead, a woman in her 20s, a 9-year-old girl, and a local TV journalist.
No one in our community,
All three of them, huh?
A 9-year-old, certainly not news professionals, should become the victim of gun violence.
During a press conference Wednesday night, Orange County Sheriff John Mina sharing that 19-year-old Keith Melvin Moses is in custody and accused of the series of shootings. The sheriff says the news photographer and reporter who worked for Spectrum News in Orlando was on the scene covering a homicide investigation into a 20-year-old woman who was shot and killed in the same area Wednesday morning. The 19-year-old gunman is said to have returned to the scene, shooting the Spectrum News crew and then entering a home nearby and shooting a mother and a 9-year-old girl.
Wow.
According to the sheriff, the child died and the victims were rushed to Orlando Regional Medical Center. The surviving crew member and the mother are in critical condition.
So I wanna
Oh,
acknowledge
no.
What a horrible day this has been for our community and our media partners.
Spectrum News released a statement saying, in part, we are deeply saddened by the loss of our colleague and the other lives senselessly taken today. Melissa Adon, ABC News.
Watch. Wow. Returned to the scene of the crime. Shot the reporter, then went into a house and shot a mom and a daughter. What's up, Cassie? That is just crazy. That is just crazy. What makes these people do this shit, you know? Yeah, sorry everybody if YouTube's bugging, chat's bugging. YouTube's acting crazy again. Alec Murdaugh doesn't need to testify. So is he supposed to testify tomorrow if he's gonna testify? Oh, JSD, you should have heard Scott Reich snap off about the Delphi shit. Man. We played some Crime Talk in the beginning. If you go to Crime Talk and look up the latest video and watch the Delphi part, he goes off. Pop boot camp. All right, let me see here. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Oh, Michelle After Dark. That's right. We never did get to that. Because, you know, we're going to be all about Ohio train derailment tomorrow night. We're going to get a lot of stuff knocked out of the way, and we might even have stuff to go into Friday night. Probably. There's been a lot of stuff. And it's been it'll be a week tomorrow that I've really talked about it. So there's a lot of stuff in the last week that, like 3 press conferences. Yeah, there's a lot. Morning. JSD, that don't surprise me. Yeah, that don't surprise me because when they had their court appearance, right? And the judge was setting a date, and she came up with June, and he was like, "Whoa, you know, we really needed till July, but we just weren't able to get a hold of the prosecution and you know, come up with an agreement." And it's like, bro, you've been on the case how long, and you ain't set up a 5-minute fucking phone call with the with the prosecution? Like, what are you doing, bro? So that don't surprise me. JSD. Good night, Kib Kitty. Yeah, he goes off about the old judge that sealed the what is it? The request or whatever, or the petition, you know, to have everything sealed up. He went off about that old judge too, and oh my gosh, you got to check out Crime Talk Justice. It's like I don't know how long. It was like 20 minutes, I think, 20 some minutes. But he goes into Delphi right away. Very interesting. It's a good watch. Oh, shoot, it's not sharing it. Hold on. Why is it doing this? Oh my gosh, this is 3 nights in a row now. It's done this. Wow. All right, here we go. What the hell? Oh, so you think? I don't know. There was two impressions I got that they were being lazy. So I don't know. I mean, he came and talked a good game when he came out and had that first press conference, you know. I was like, whoa. The dude is passionate, you know. I was like, wow, it's going to be good for his defense. But that other court date, I was just like, dude, you're fucking being lazy. Is that a dog or a cow? What's up, cow? Oh, so what did they release all that then, Justice? Is that something we can go into?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It's Wednesday morning. Guys. Every case that gets well known
I'm
in the
sorry you had
media
a rough
and on
evening.
social media gets its fair share of crazies. Crazies who like to spread ridiculous theories around with absolutely no evidence whatsoever. But
Damn.
there's a certain element of the true crime community that will believe them.
So what are you thinking, Justice? What are you thinking about? What do you think, they're going to convict him on some shoddy shit? I mean, if the defense doesn't have enough time to get ready, what do you think?
So this morning, what I want to present to you is a crazy theory. And I'm going to debunk it based on the most basic of logic. Now, this person has been living it large, shall we say, on social media. I don't know how many people really believe this person.
Who?
We're going to debunk this theory anyway, because it's ridiculous.
Who?
All right, guys, let's go. So this is from their Facebook profile. And this tells us that Brian Kohberger is innocent. Well, not quite innocent, because it appears that he was the getaway driver. So at the very least, he'd be an accessory to murder. But let's go with this theory that Brian Kohberger is innocent. Brian Kohberger had no knowledge these murders were going to occur.
Whoa!
Brian Kohberger never got out of his car. All Brian did was drive. Okay, so he was the getaway driver. Right? All he did was drive.
Did you guys see what the fuck that was saying? Where did this come from? Huh.
Were going to occur.
It does. It does seem fishy. Defense may have learned what they found in his home or car. Oh. Right, yeah. Yeah, the clothing. What, books? No, I don't know. This is Michelle Walk's video. Here, let me rewind it a little bit. I don't know where this came from.
Theory. Going to debunk on the most basic of logic. Now, this person has been living it large, shall we say, on social media. I don't know how many people really believe this person, but we're going to debunk this theory anyway, because it's ridiculous. All right, guys, let's go. So this is from their Facebook profile, and this tells us that Brian Kohberger is innocent. Well, not quite innocent, because it appears that he was the getaway driver. So at the very least, he'd be an accessory to murder. But let's go with this theory that Brian Kohberger is innocent. Brian Kohberger had no knowledge these murders were going to occur. Brian Kohberger never got out of his car. All Brian did was drive. Okay, so he was the getaway driver. Right? All he did was drive. Now, we heard from the probable cause affidavit. Brian Kohberger's white Hyundai Elantra was seen all over the place, caught by numerous surveillance cameras on the night of the murders. They saw the white Elantra and his phone travelling down from his home onto the road that takes you to Moscow, Idaho. He then did a drive-by of the police station. He drove around the neighbourhood. He kept coming backwards and forwards. And then at 4 minutes past 4 in the AM, he was seen doing a 3-point turn. 16 minutes later, he was seen speeding away. He then did this big convoluted route to get home. And he only got home about 5:30 in the AM of November 13th.
He is.
Brian was just the getaway driver, so maybe this long convoluted route was to drop people off back at their homes, like a taxi driver.
Know.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Right.
Brian Kohberger was not
Sounds
the
weird.
mastermind of the plan, it was someone else.
Sounds weird.
The real mastermind of the plan wasn't even there, but I can't tell you his name. Oh, okay. Brian Kohberger will be fully exonerated of all wrongdoing, as will Brent Kopacker. Now, there's been lots of crazy talking.
Man, it's been probably a week, right? Speaking of, I want to show this new logo here real quick. I'm just going to take a break from this video here. I wanted to show this real quick. I was going into my email. I was going to see where the last time I got an email from Phantom usually hits me up with links all the time. I was going to see when I got the last link, because I believe that's the last time Phantom was in the show. But yeah, that's the new logo for the store. I'm guessing it's probably going to be Saturday, everybody, that the logos are up there and on items and such. But that's going to be the logo. Other than my show logo, this is just for you guys. If you would like this font instead of my font, you can choose this font. And then you can let me know what color you would like it to be and on what items, and then I'll make that happen. But what I'll do is I'm going to put out a community post once it's up with the different font options, and there'll be a number next to each one, and then I'll just put like an example of an order or something on how you can customize it and what you can do for the customization for the store. And then that way you guys can message me. I'll have all the information in the community post. You can just click on whatever message, contact, or whatever's easiest. And then you can just hit me up that way. And then we can just have an orders. And then I can go ahead and put them in a separate section. And then we can go through those. after the show's over and such like that. So I think it'll be cool. And then you guys can have your YouTube name on there and everything in a different spot. So could maybe even put other if there's any kind of like, maybe you want like a flower added onto it or something with it, you know. I'm sure we can find something, you know, if you wanted a coffee cup next to it, a flower, something, whatever, you know, just send any kind of suggestions, and we can try and do everything we can to make sure that we get it exactly however you would like it. Because if you're paying that much for the items, it's only fair that you have your own little custom item, right? So let's make it custom, and let's make it cool, and whatever your style and desire is. All right, let me go back to this, and I'm gonna see when Phantom was last in the show. Now I'm starting to wonder. I got to get me a hat.
Burger. No, he wasn't. Just because Brent Kopacker died by the hands
17th
of a police marksman after holding his roommates hostage, I guess, it doesn't mean to say that he had anything to do with the Idaho murders. He was mentioned by Brian's dad when the cops stopped them in Indiana on the way back to Pennsylvania on the 15th of December. The incident involving Brent Kopacker had just happened like a couple of days before, so it was fresh on their minds. But people put two and two together and got 36 million with no evidence at all. But according to this person, Brian Koberger will be fully exonerated. Well, no, he won't, because if he was the getaway driver, what did he do? Just drive them there? No. Waited for them to commit the murders, and then drove them away? Did he not ask any questions? Was there no blood on them? Whose was the knife?
No news schedule. It's still going to be the same for right now.
Was there no blood on them? Whose was the knife? Because it had Brian Koberger's DNA.
And speaking of, here, I'll go show the other one just for a split second here. This is the other one. If you like this style better. But like I said, once I put the community posts, I'm going to have each different style of font up there. And then they'll all have a number in each box for each style. And then you can, as part of the order, you can pick 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, you start the order that way. Then you type color. Then you type item. Then you type add YouTube name. If you want to add that, then you type the color of, color a logo, all sorts of stuff. But we'll get that on the community post. And more than likely, it's going to be Saturday. It's already Thursday. Tomorrow, so then we'll have the special. So I'm guessing probably Saturday sometime I will have the community up, and then I'll just have a couple, probably do coffee mugs and a couple basic items just to show you guys the logo and what it looks like on different color of items and such. And then that way you guys can have an idea of, okay, I kind of like this pink with this, gray or blue or whatever, tan, it'll give you an idea of what the logo color looks like compared to the item colors. It'll be neat though. Thank you, Cherry, for your help on that.
On it. And it was proven, in the probable cause affidavit, it was proven that Brian's dad, whose DNA they got from his trash, was the biological father of the person who left the DNA on the knife sheath. So, are you saying that these killers are also the biological children of
I need
Brian's
me a
dad?
hat for sure.
Or was it
And a
Brian's
hoodie.
knife? They didn't leave any DNA. And it was Brian's knife. So he gave them a knife then. All right. So he drove them there, gave them a knife with his DNA on it, and then drove away. That doesn't sound like somebody who could be fully exonerated to me.
That's what I was
Anyway,
thinking.
let's carry
Somewhere
on.
it was
Fry, Josh Couch,
The
Cody
17th,
Funk,
I
and
think.
Scott Jr. did the murders. So he's naming people here. Naming people. Can't name the mastermind of the plan, but
Maybe just working. You know, I'm kind of worried now too. Maybe just working a lot. You know, maybe it's a few days of some long shifts or something. Yeah, he's been tired. I think he was even saying he might have passed out in the last one. He was like, "Hey, if you guys don't hear from me, I passed out in my chair." So yeah, I know this dude's been tired. So, we'll see. Maybe I bet you Phantom shows up tomorrow night. There's just I'm trying to get to it. It's just there is no underwear on there, JSD. There is no underwear. I need to get me a hat though, so I can wear my Evil CJ show hat. I definitely need to get a hat. I need to make one up tonight and have CJ on it somewhere or something too. Have my own little. Yeah, I really like the purple logo. The one with the. I looked at the purple one, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, let me go back to it. When I was looking at this one, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn, that would look damn good for my show logo. Seriously, the blue. You know, have the blue instead of the purple. But I was looking at it, and I'm like, damn. I would love to have that as my show logo. Because I really like that. I really like the and the show on there. I really like that. Yeah. I don't know. Have like a little microphone right here. A little microphone. I do like that. We'll see though. I don't know. I might have to ask for a new logo for I like that one. Yeah, I need new glasses, JSD. What the fuck? All right, hold on. Let me go back to this video here.
And it was brown knife. So he get knife sheath. So I used to are also the biological children of Brian's dad, or was it
What?
Brian's knife?
Oh,
Gave
these
him
people
DNA.
on the list. Okay.
And it was Brian's knife. So he gave them a knife then. All right. So he drove them there, gave them a knife with his DNA on it, and then drove away.
Oh, so this latest theory, I haven't even heard of this theory from anybody else, so I don't know. Have you guys heard this theory before about these, where's that list? About those 3 people on there? I haven't heard about them. Any of them, honestly. And I looked at one of the names and I'm like, that's the last name of Bethany. What? Oh my lord.
That doesn't sound like somebody who could be fully exonerated to me.
Y'all
But
are
anyway,
nuts.
let's carry on. Fry, Josh Coach,
Yeah, these people.
Cody Funk, and Scott Jr. did the murders. So he's naming people here. Naming people. Can't name the mastermind of the plan, but can name the murderers. It is Scott Jr.'s 2017 Sonata on the CCTV from the gas station. It's Fry's truck on the grub truck CCTV. So Scott Jr. and Fry brought their own vehicles to the area. So did they leave their vehicles wherever, somewhere, and all jumped into Brian's car? Why? Why?
It just
Look,
don't.
this doesn't pass the
No,
basic
it don't
sniff
make
test
sense.
of logic.
It don't make sense.
Never mind being what really happened. In my opinion, of course.
I mean, that's cool. I'm not gonna watch another 10 more minutes of this crazy ass theory. That's just crazy. Let me see if there's been anything breaking out here. Yeah, y'all are crazy. Oh, hold on a minute. Oh, I think I have that video already. Okay. So the suspect, okay, this is another Brian Enton video on that reporter.
Dan Eckert.
Oh, it's Banfield, I
Former
guess.
federal prosecutor. He's also very familiar with this area because he lived in this area. And also want to bring in Jennifer Coffendorfer, who's a former FBI special agent with 28 years in federal law enforcement. Dan Eckert, first to you, the Pine Hills area where this happened. Can you just sort of characterize it for me? I imagine that, you know, the reporter and the cameraman were there to cover the shooting of a 20-year-old woman. I don't know if that's, you know, heavily crime-ridden area, but tell me about it.
Yeah, first I want to, you know, obviously the victims and the victims of the family, it's a sad day for Orlando, but, you know, Pine Hills has got the reputation of being crime hills, and that's been that way for years. When I was a federal prosecutor, I can just tell you a lot of our cases developed out of Pine Hills, and it still happens to this day. There's just a lot of shootings, there's gang activity, there's drug activity there. And I think that reporter, I think that was Fox reporter that said that they cleared out of there. I think that was because the police presence was beginning to decline because they were finishing up the initial investigation. So that just gives you an indication of just how much violence there is in Pine Hills.
So Jennifer Coffendorfer, they seem to have made a lot of headway in the first homicide investigation at 11 o'clock this morning. The sheriff actually said the woman killed earlier was an acquaintance of the suspect.
Whoa,
so
really?
It just seems sort of alarming that there's this suspect on the loose. And whenever we cover this, whenever we do these stories that a gunman is still on the loose, we always say the same thing to the viewers. There is a danger out there if the gunman is still on the loose. And this is a clear example of how people who seemingly had no connection at all to this 19-year-old suspect are now dead or fighting for their lives in the hospital.
Absolutely, Ashley. I mean, it was a homicidal rampage that this individual went on, a spree killing where he went from one location to another to another.
Wow,
And
to
before the
another.
police could actually get him into custody.
Went to three?
Unfortunately, these victims paid this horrible price of being shot. And what we're always seeing as a link with these shooters is these long rap sheets involving gun violence, involving assault, involving violent crime. And something's got to be done about this, Ashley. We need to keep these individuals in prison longer.
I'm not standing up. You guys are fucking nuts. Oh my God.
I mean, the rap sheet alone, Dan Eckert, was so distressing to hear
You guys are
the
fucking
things that they had said that he'd, and at the young age of 19, aggravated battery, assault, grand theft. How do you have that kind of a background, Dan, as Jennifer just said, and still be out on the street at the age of 19 with a handgun?
Well, unfortunately, I see it all the time. Both as a defense attorney, I saw it all the time when I was a prosecutor. I would guess there's a mindset, particularly in Orange County. Maybe that comes from the office of the prosecutor. There's been a lot of criticism amongst the law enforcement community about how cases are handled, how they're prosecuted. And the judges can only do so much. I mean, there's judges I think are trying to do the right thing, but a lot of it is driven by the statutes and by the legislation. And I agree with Jennifer.
I mean,
something has to be done. I mean, there's just too much violent random crime. In Orlando's getting more violent, unfortunately. I know it's the place everybody thinks of Disney and all the attractions, but there's a lot of violent crime in the city.
So Jennifer, can I just ask you? They've charged, this suspect, Keith Melvin Moses, with murder in the first 11 a.m. shooting death of the acquaintance, the 20-year-old woman. And they say that further charges are coming, obviously, right? There's a dead reporter. There's a photographer who's in critical. There is a dead 9-year-old child. And then that child's mother, she is in critical as well. What would they be doing at the hospital? Will the police officers be there to get statements, if possible, so that, God forbid, anything happens, they will at least have something on the record in order to prosecute?
Well, they're going to be poring over certainly all witness statements right now, not only recanvassing again the neighbors that were in that neighborhood because it happened in the exact same location. But they're also going to be certainly interviewing friends, family, relatives, hospital staff, trying to find out if there was any connection. I would believe there isn't going to be a connection. That, in other words, this is random acts of violence involved in this homicidal rage.
I have a PayPal link. I just don't have it up.
Just unbelievable. I have some other news that's just coming into me now. And it's just, I thought it was bad that a 19-year-old had a rap sheet, including aggravated battery, assault, and grand theft. But it turns out we're now learning that his criminal history includes more than a dozen arrests, and they date back to 2018.
For what?
If you do the math to today, it's
For
2023.
what?
That's 5 years. And if you subtract 5 years off a 19-year-old,
Come on. It could have been for stealing fucking M&Ms. For what? Finish the sentence, please.
more than a dozen arrests, and they date back to 2018. And if you do the math to today, it's 2023, that's 5 years. And if you subtract 5 years off a 19-year-old, that means that this kid was getting busy at 14. The arrests began at 14. And I know I shouldn't be surprised because this happens, but when it amounts to the possibility of 5 people being shot by a 19-year-old, and again, it is an allegation at this early stage.
Okay, here we go.
But
criminal history, gun charges, aggravated battery, assault with a deadly weapon, burglary, grand theft charges. Okay. Thank you.
with this many people injured and dead, it is remarkable to me that someone at the age of 14 who had been arrested more than a dozen times in 5 short years to the age of 19 now finds himself locked up and being processed and mugshot for what will be likely at.
And the sad part of the situation is normally in that situation with the child, it's because there's something going on at home. So, you know, I don't know. I get the dude was fucking up a lot, but usually that's a sign of something not going right at home.
At least 2 murders. Jennifer Coffindoffer and Dan Eckert, thank you both. Much appreciated. I appreciate you jumping in on this breaking news for us. Thank you. Thank you for.
And thank you for giving me a heads up when the video's ending. All right, I'm going to go through my folder. We're going to go watch one more video. And then I'm going to go ahead and close the show down for the evening. And I will be back on tomorrow night with the Ohio chemical disaster. M&Ms. Yeah, they're pretty serious. Oh, I'm so happy because now all the badgering from JSD is deflected from me to Kevin now. That's so cool. I'm so excited. Kevin, enjoy, my friend. It's fun. Enjoy. And then we'll see about Friday night. I might end up doing some more. I haven't done it since last Thursday, so maybe I will do it the next 2 nights. We'll see. All right. So we did watch that. Let me see. What else? Destroyed UFO. Now, I think I've been okay using this before. This is a channel that I really love. I really love this channel. It's something that I don't play too much. No. I never said anything like that. We'll just rewind it. SRB. No. It's about to make, but I'm late to the party. Yeah. This is a channel that I really like. There is actually I had a lot of stuff about the spy balloon and stuff in relevance to a lot of the stuff that I think it's connected to, and I was going to use some of these videos to do that, but I never got to that. I wish I could have a longer show every night. One day. Okay, so this is the infographic show. I put the link in chat. Okay. I think I'll be cool. I think I was cool. I think I've only played it once, and I think I was okay before. I want to see what this video is of. And then I'm going to go ahead and end the evening, and I will be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock
Over the course of 1 week, the United States...
And make sure I like this real quick. And I can't wait to talk about this chemical crap. Has anybody know, is Aaron Brockovich showing up Friday on the convo and chat? Yeah, I hear that, SRB. Thank you for your really kind words earlier today. I really appreciate those.
States has shot down 1 Chinese spy balloon and 3 unidentified flying objects. Is this evidence of a massive spy campaign by China, or is the U.S. being invaded by aliens? Social media is ablaze with the news of a Chinese spy balloon immediately followed by the shootdown of multiple real-life UFOs. The craze began with the discovery of a massive Chinese balloon carrying a payload described as the size of 3 city buses. First spotted drifting over the West Coast, President Joe Biden immediately ordered it to be shot down.
Whatever.
However,
hold on. That's a bunch of bullshit right there. This thing was 200 feet. Okay? 200 fucking feet. You're showing these buses the wrong way. They should be stacked up, one on top of each other, going vertical, and then you make the balloon that fucking big. That is 200 feet. Not even. That's probably, I mean, it could be close to it, but they're stacked this way, not sideways. I mean, fuck, you're talking 30 fucking feet. Because that bus ain't taller than 10 feet? Come on, 30 fucking feet? No, let's redo that cartoon, man.
Carrying a payload described as the size of 3 city buses.
Stacked.
First spotted drifting over the West Coast, President Joe Biden immediately ordered it to be shot down. However, the Defense Department recommended that a shoot-down be delayed, citing concerns over the civilians and infrastructure on the ground. What we've learned since is that the DoD might have been more concerned with gathering its own intelligence than public safety, as the balloon was immediately surveilled by U.S. aircraft, which tracked it during its entire journey across the continental U.S. Concerns over data collection were immediately raised, as the balloon flew over at least part of one U.S. nuclear missile field. However, the DoD assured that the balloon's not able to relay any data back to its Chinese handlers, likely because electronic warfare assets were being utilized to block either or reception by loitering satellites. We're forced to speculate, as the DoD is notoriously secretive about its EW capabilities, but the fact that it was fully confident that the balloon should be allowed to travel across the U.S. is indicative that there were no real concerns over intelligence gathering. Further, it's unlikely much intelligence was gathered that wasn't already available via satellite.
How do they know? Maybe we don't know fucking everything. Maybe what we saw looked like a bread box was actually a fucking super fucking zoomed in fucking surveillance, you know. Oh, it's a Lucky Charms box. I mean, you have heard of the people using a fucking wooden horse to get into I mean, come on.
Really got the world's attention was the revelation of another unidentified flying object over the northern coast of Alaska. On February 10th, the U.S. military revealed that it had tracked an object at approximately 40,000 feet over Alaskan airspace. Details remain incredibly scarce, but the object was observed by at least 2 different flights of American planes sent up to investigate. On the second intercept, the object was shot down, likely using an AIM-9X missile. What has people raising their eyebrows is the alleged accounts, as told on the national media, of some of the pilots. Most notably, one pilot allegedly stated the craft had no visible means of propulsion and that it interfered with his F-35's electronics. Described as the size of a small car, the object drew immediate comparison to the 2004 videos of U.S. Navy aircraft intercepting a tic-tac-shaped UFO. The very next day, NORAD detected yet another unidentified object, this time flying over Alaska and crossing into Canada's Yukon territory. At the request of the Canadian government, U.S. fighters intercepted and successfully shot down this third mysterious object. Once more, details were scarce, but the Canadian Defense Minister confirmed this object was cylindrical in nature, which immediately got the attention of many UFO watchers.
Yeah, that's weird.
Of all UFOs reported by eyewitnesses, the 2 most common, stretching back over a century, are of the traditional round saucers and long cylindrical or cigar-shaped objects.
I do too.
Then came the bombshell dropped on Fox News by an anchor who alleged his sources had spoken with the pilots involved in the intercept and had compared it directly to the infamous Tic Tac UFO pursued by planes in 2004 over the Pacific.
Let's talk about those UFOs that were seen off the USS Nimitz in the Pacific years ago. We had those fighter pilots saying
that's what I'm saying, Cherry. It's still not even 200 if you stack them on top. But if you're going to show that picture, you need to show them being stacked up this way, not that way, because there's no way in hell that balloon. I mean, it's a false. Yeah, we saw that earlier in the show. That thing was fucking shit. The solar panels were huge. And you know what? When I was looking at that picture, I started to wonder, like, how fucking far down were these solar panels from the balloon? Because it looked like it was quite a bit of fucking distance hanging down. Like, the balloon's way up here and the fucking panels are, like, way down here. Shit. I ain't gonna say shit. He can't even talk about Ohio. He's too busy fucking going across the pond and giving money.
they saw this unidentified craft. They're moving quickly. Some of the
Giving money to another country, but, you know, not giving money to the people here in our own country that are affected by a disaster. I don't know.
pilots I've heard that have, including some of the ones that have spoken to the pilots that shot down those craft over Canada and the one over Alaska yesterday, say these were not balloons. These were, craft objects, if you will. They're very similar.
Sometimes I feel like I need to run for something.
Those that were spotted over the Pacific.
Right on cue, the next day, February 11th, an object was spotted over Montana's airspace, prompting
Yeah,
the DoD
Scooby-Doo
to
and
shut
Looney
down all
Tunes.
civilian air traffic in the region. Airspace was eventually reopened, but on February 12th, airspace over the Great Lakes was restricted to civilian aircraft. Hours later, an Air Force F-16 shot down a fourth object. To add further fuel to the fire, on the very same day, China announced that it was using artificial intelligence to track unidentified flying objects. It had detected one flying right outside the port city of Qingdao. As of the writing of this script, its military was preparing to shoot the object down. Meanwhile, in Uruguay, its military was responding to bright lights seen hovering over its...
Whoa, hold on a minute. So the Chinese was going to be shooting one down too? What? What?
Guys, so what in the world is going on? The entire world has turned to the Defense Department for answers, but the DoD has been extremely tight-lipped, citing ongoing recovery operations off the Alaskan coast and in the Canadian Yukon. However, a DoD press briefing on February 12th stated it was unknown how these objects were able to fly. This could mean the objects either have an unknown propulsion system or could in fact be rigid-hulled airships.
SRB, is that of a new picture? Of one of the... Does anybody have any pictures of the other ones? Besides that first balloon? Yes. I love Looney Tunes. Another one of my favorites was I think it was Hanna-Barbera's Laugh Olympics. Do you guys remember that cartoon? The Laugh Olympics? I loved the Laugh Olympics. Yogi Berra, all the Pink Panther, they'd all get together and compete against each other in games, and there'd be some crazy, sketchy shit going on, people cheating.
Something that the US and Chinese militaries both have used before. If these objects are airships or balloons, then only two of them seem to be truly free-floating. Recent jet stream tracking shows that it's possible that both the original Chinese spy balloon and the object shot down over Lake Huron were simply riding the jet stream. However, this doesn't explain the objects over Alaska and the Yukon, which were outside of the jet stream at the time of their sighting. The Defense Department also revealed that they'd begun work on the various filters used by NORAD's powerful computers in order to detect more of these unidentified flying objects. In essence, North America's air defense networks are optimized to track and detect known threats, or anything approaching known threat vectors. However, objects that don't fly within these parameters can sometimes be lost in the massive amounts of data generated. An effort to look back at the raw data going back years, prompted by the discovery of the Chinese spy balloon, has revealed similar tracks, and it's known that the US has detected and tracked similar balloons in the past. However, this still doesn't explain the current objects being shot down on a nearly daily basis, though it does explain why they're being seen. We're finally actively looking for them. Craft like balloons or rigid airships can sometimes be difficult to spot, as radar waves can pass right through them. However, there is a growing skepticism that these are merely airships or balloons, and it appears as if one of the pilots sent to intercept the object over Alaska was confident he was not looking at a balloon or airship. For now, though, we're forced to speculate, as the DoD is releasing no details. Now, go check out actual video of U.S. military intercepting UFO.
Is that why they came out and said? Is that why they came out and said that they shot it down, but it crashed in a region that's hard to get to? But really, they already know what the fuck it is. Because when I first heard that, I'm going, why in the hell are you going to shoot something down that's going to crash in an area where it's hard to get to? It makes no fucking sense. That's interesting. The Jetsons. Oh boy. All right, everybody. Appreciate you hanging out. I'm gonna hop off for the night. Got a long day tomorrow. Be back on tomorrow night for some Ohio chemical spill disaster. Definitely need to talk some more about it tonight. It's been too many days. Or tomorrow night. It's been too many days. Got a lot of press conferences. Got a lot of interviews. got some Trump stuff there. We'll see all these supplies that were brought in. I watched a little bit of it earlier. There's a lot of shit that got brought in, so that's cool. And that's cool to hear that a church was tied in with some donations too, and the community members are, able to get some help, and hopefully that'll, that's the last thing that I think the rail company wanted, because it's easier to give them $1,000 checks and sign a paper when these people already had to pay for, being uprooted, and then they're trying to have any kind of money they can have. They're sacrificing things to make it. And, the last thing they wanted is somebody to come in and help out and give supplies and stuff where these families didn't have to pay anything. So now hopefully, it'll help a little bit, and especially with the donation money, to where these families don't have to take that $1,000 check and sign off their health for the future, because they need that money right now to make it. So regardless of what anybody thinks or wants to say, I'm glad that Trump showed up. I'm glad that he was able to help that community. I'm glad that somebody was actually there. It's sad that it's been 3 weeks and none of our other public officials showed up. That's very sad. And it's sad it just appears that they're showing up now because of other people showing up, and we got Aaron Brockovich showing up Friday, I think. So that'll be interesting too. I haven't seen any interviews with her pop up in the last day or so, maybe 2 days, but I'm sure there'll be some coming up, because she might even be there tomorrow. I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know. But we'll be definitely going over it tomorrow night. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I appreciate you so much. I hope you have a peaceful and positive evening. And you know what? Look up some cartoons on YouTube. They have like 24-hour marathons of Looney Tunes and all sorts of shit. I love it. I always watch my cartoons on YouTube. G.I. Joe, all that stuff. Good night, everybody. I appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow night.